Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your TWitWoW monthly Q&A. It is number 77 of these things, and it is November of 2022. And boy, oh boy, are the quantity of these questions really dwindling. We have been going down, down, down in how many questions are asked. Seems like every month over the course of the last 3 or 4 months now. I don't know. At what point did we just hit a wall? It seems like July, maybe June. I don't know. Maybe it was just this year because it seems like as recently as April we had like a decent amount of questions. But man, has it been going downhill. But anyway, we got a grand total of 13 questions to answer today. So to the three of you who asked questions to us, we would like to thank you. We do appreciate it. And to those of you who didn't, it's okay. We're not trying to make you feel guilty or anything. It's not like asking questions keeps the channel running or anything. It's just a fun thing we thought that we could do for our community. But hey, if our community feels like they don't want to ask any more questions, if they feel like they know so fucking much about us that they are literally out of things to ask us, then that's perfectly fine. John and I have agreed that we are going to do the December Q&A on December 29th later this year to close out the 2022 year nicely. And then starting in 2023, we are going to start, rather than doing monthly Q&As, we will start doing quarterly Q&As, which means that our first Q&A of 2023 will not be at the end of January, it will be at the end of March. And then it would be at the end of March, and then at the end of June, and then at the end of September, and then the end of December again. So that's going to be the new format. We're going to keep it relatively similar where you get 5 questions a month if you're a patron or 3 questions a month if you are not. But we're going to add a little bonus question to make the numbers nice and even. So if you are a patron, you'll get 15 questions a month. And if you are a non-patron, you'll get up to 10 questions per quarter, I should say, not per month. So patrons get 15 questions per quarter. Non-patrons get up to 10 questions per quarter. You're welcome. And we will be getting into that, like I said, starting in 2023. We will still be doing our December Q&A in 4 weeks from now. But for now, let's answer these 13 questions that we got for this Q&A. John, how do you feel?
I mean, I'm feeling great. I think this adjustment in our system is good because, I mean, the way they're dwindling, I'm really feeling like Q&As in this economy, energy. So, you know, we're doing what we can. We're all working to get by. I'm curious what these 13 questions are, the ever so infamous lucky number. Let us get into them.
Well, first off, we've got 5 from Super Blue. Super Blue is on a real streak right now. He's got 4, 5, 6 in a row. This is his 6th Q&A in a row being the first set of questions that we answer. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's wild.
So to start things out, our first question from Super Blue is, given the results of the midterm elections, the January 6th hearings, and Elon Musk buying Twitter, are we as good as fucked in 2024?
Now this answer might surprise. Actually, no. I always do this. Did you want to go first, friend, or do you mind that I'm going first?
Go first, my friend. Go first.
I appreciate that. I apologize, but yes, this might surprise some people. I'm trying. I want to stress try, and I'm being very sincere here. I'm trying to cultivate a different disposition to politics that isn't so defeatist. It's always going to be hypercritical because I think you need to be when you live in the capitalist/imperialist core, which the U.S. absolutely is. But I don't think fucked applies until there's just no one left on this earth. So long as there is a human being on this earth, then the science of politics is actual, and therefore it can always be different than what it is. Let's talk about it, because this question, I think, what was the date of this question, Ashton, if you don't mind me telling me? It was before the midterm results, correct?
Yeah, this question came in on literally November 1st, so it was before the election results even came in. And we got quite the resistance to that so-called red wave that we were supposed to be getting.
Yes, absolutely. We saw the resistance to that. What was the... Okay, so that was the election. It wasn't a red wave. It was barely even a red trickle. Even though some election deniers did win their elections, and that's always concerning.
I think 2.
What was the other thing he mentioned between that and Elon buying Twitter? Because he mentioned another thing, didn't he?
The January 6th hearings, which are still going on, I believe.
January 6th hearings are going on. They're still finding damning stuff. The question is, are they going to do anything with it? That remains to be seen still.
That is the question.
And as far as Elon, and look, again, you notice that I'm keeping very calm. I'm not going to go on, I'm going to be the meme. I'm not going to get all political, and I have no drinks near me, so I'm not going to get any drinks in me, so that other half isn't going to happen. The Elon thing has really, I think, been a forceful rebuke for anybody that needed it, that trickle down economics, wealthy people are job creators, the great man theory, all that shit has been forcefully rebuked with how Elon has handled Twitter. Now, there have been some people that I think have given substantive, I'm not going to roast them for it, commentaries about Twitter isn't going anywhere. This is what Elon's doing. It's like radical restructuring, whatever. The concerns I've read, though, I don't dismiss out of hand. There seem to be serious security concerns. I think he's going to be hit with a lot of fines and maybe some lawsuits potentially. But I think ultimately we've also seen how people have kind of used this as an opportunity to do damage. Now, listen, there's both good and bad here. Let's focus on the bad just very quickly, just to acknowledge that it exists. Right-wing people have been going to Elon, reporting left-wing accounts, and getting them suspended. So Twitter is slightly, increasingly becoming more of a right-wing space. But to be fair, when Jack Dorsey was owning it, long before Elon made the purchase, you could say that Twitter was even then a safe haven for Nazis. I saw a lot of despicable accounts get nothing done to them whatsoever. On the positive side, and this is big, we had people use the verification system for some of the best practice I have seen probably in my entire life, parodying corporations and tanking their stocks. And there's a lesson here. And see, this is why I'm saying there's no need to rant or be angry when we can have a substantive discussions of ideas. And I'm not talking about the liberal position of, hey, let's invite Richard Spencer to our symposium. No, I'm talking about actual praxis, looking at things as they are. And looking at things as they are, the concept of resistance, the concept of means of production, all these Marxian ideas, which, by the way, we still need to get better about communicating to the masses by and large, and certainly to the working class, that has fundamentally changed today. Any praxis, and by the way, any reactionary praxis in the name of capitalism and all this stuff, most of it is going to be digital, whether to galvanize forces physically or just in and of itself, it's going to be just all digital. This was amazing praxis. This should tell us that no matter how closed off a system seems to be, how impenetrable it seems to be, if you can find even one crack, you can exploit that for resistance. That's what so many people did with this verification system to go after corporations. Will they recover? Sure. But it still sends a message that we are not powerless. That's what I'd like to take here, is the more optimistic message of there is power to be found anywhere. You just have to have the imagination to look and the community to look and find it and exploit it to the fullest. Beyond that, we have a crisis with the railway workers right now. They are trying to get paid sick leave. Now, this is a bad thing because right now they are losing. We just found out today it needed 60 votes on the Senate floor. It only got 52. The deal that would have given them, I believe, 7 paid sick days, it failed in the Senate. However, again, trying to look at the glass half full while being critical, because this is bad and it is a blow. And I hope that they're honestly, quote unquote, striking illegally, because I think it would be rendered illegal after the, Joe Biden and the political arm thereof is saying, hey, get back to fucking work. Where I will also look optimistically is I think this once again shows to everybody, anybody that needed to be convinced, that the state is never class neutral. The state is always going to side with the predominant capitalist interests, the predominant bourgeois interests, and it is going to leverage what makes it a state, that being the monopoly of the use of force, military, police, whatever, to maintain those capitalist interests. Now, why I'm hoping that the workers continue to strike illegally, because I think there is a lot riding on this, is that, again, if you have to resolve it through forceful means, which, again, is what makes it a state. So if Biden was to say, just as an example, deploy the National Guard to quell the unrest, well, then you're just showing that the state by itself is illegitimate. If your authority ultimately boils down to, I can exert violence and you can't, that is an illegitimate system, period. And I would love, in this day and age of social media and everything else, for the world to see that. For the world to see the great U.S. that always tries to hide behind this veil of nobility. We're seeing them do it now with the Ukrainian invasion done by Russian forces, fighting a proxy war with Russia. And by the way, I just want to make perfectly clear, I am not pro-Russian at all. Putin can fucking eat shit and die. But I'm also not a fool, neither are any of you. We know that there's no such thing as a noble struggle. There is always an imperialistic interest. There is always an interest in resources or land expansion or whatever. It is a geopolitical interest for the U.S. as well. There is nothing noble about it. The war never is. But I would love to see them leverage that and then try and paint it as, oh, but these railway workers were threatening the economy. No, the oligarchs threaten the economy. and we must never forget who our enemy is. I would also say, having read, because I did this as a recording in the Discord, which is why you guys should pay $3 a month if you haven't, because you never know what you're going to get. I did a long political recording, which I know Ashton listened to. I think Abel did as well, that I had been reading some Marxist theory. And he had actually talked about this Marxist theorist Lukács, who I believe was a Hungarian communist, talked about these Italian factory workers. And he said that, with the Italian factory workers, the mistake they made was that they believed that their struggle was with the owners of the factory most immediately. It never is. It never is just with the factory owners, but the entire capitalist apparatus. That's exactly what's happening here. The railway workers, their struggle most immediately, yes, is with the company. That is true. But President Biden's failure, while at the same time being audacious enough to still call himself a pro-labor president, which I'm just going to say right now I find to be oxymoronic, but that's just me, shows that it's not just the railroad company that's the problem and the CEO. Most immediately it is. That's the avatar of the struggle, right? But more broadly, it's with the capitalist state. It's with the capitalist ideology. Every working class struggle is. And we can't forget that. I think Zoomers and the people that really did the Twitter, parody accounts and then tank these stocks, I think they understand that actually. I think they understand that, hey, it's not just one corporation. It's not just one CEO. They could be, again, the avatars of our struggle, the people that we point to signify the problems. But the problem is so much bigger than them because it's the system that upholds them. I am very encouraged by this generation coming up because I think they understand, as again we saw in the midterms, that electoralism is merely a defensive tactic. And that is one more thing that I would say before I close and hand it over to Ashton. And I am very proud of myself that I've kept composed this whole time and given probably my most intelligent political exposition in probably ever, that electoralism is always a defensive tactic, never an offensive one. You are never going to vote out capitalism. You are never going to vote out imperialism. Because even the democratic socialists, which again, I will always say, if they are on the ballot, absolutely vote for them. But they are by and large welfarists. It's not that they challenge capitalism, it's that they reorient capitalism to augment the welfare state, the social safety net, and there's still going to be imperialism done. There's still going to be all this stuff done. It's always going to be a defensive tactic. So we can defend ourselves with democratic socialism. We can't liberate ourselves with it. So the offensive tactics are fuck with the corporations, stand with striking workers, augment their resources, build communities of solidarity, and mutual aid, do things independent of the government. I'm not talking about the libertarian people that get in armed struggles with the police over, freaking land that just nothing's happening with, like the Bundy ranchers, for example, to give like a concrete example. Things like that. That's resistance. That's how we win. I don't believe in fucked. I don't want to believe in fucked anymore. I have seen things that have really inspired me and have shown me, yes, the far right, their presence is increasing. It's a very serious problem. Neoliberalism is not the answer because to me, neoliberalism precipitated the conditions for this to happen. And just for anybody, because I know I'm kind of talking a bit fast here, with neoliberalism, I mean just the idea that the market can just sort everything out. The market and the public square by which the market is enacted can solve all problems. That is a ghoulish idea, and we've seen it, and I think we've seen it time and again. But I think we're seeing human ingenuity and imagination, again, especially from the younger generations, that has been very inspiring. I know resisting and defeating a system like this is very complex. We're certainly not going to do it in the basis of a wrestling Q&A or a Q&A done by a wrestling channel. But I think it's always important to keep the hope. Stay angry, stay critical, absolutely, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Know that good things are happening. Know that people are struggling and fighting on the streets, on the ground. Know that people are coordinating and working together, which is why platforms like Twitter are so important. And I will say that's the only scary thing about Elon. Twitter was a huge platform. If that goes down, you're losing what a lot of marginalized communities and workers and just people that we are in the struggle with used to build networks of social solidarity, used to exchange resources, and that is a blow. However, I want to downplay the significance of the blow, but I think I've also seen a lot of human resiliency lately, and I know somebody would come up with something else, and maybe something even better to allow that kind of organizing to take place. God knows the right wing. It seems like every time I turn around, they have a new social media thing. I have a feeling the left would be the same way. Hell, I saw Russian anarchists. This is another thing that really inspired me and made me proud. Russian anarchists bombed a recruitment center for Russia. So Russia couldn't get any more young soldiers for its war, just send them to die for some, again, just invasion. And that was beautiful. That was some of the best anarchist practice I've seen since the Greek anarchists back in like '08. Things are happening, and I think you really need to see that. And I don't blame anybody who doesn't, because we have a media that is predicated on teaching you fear, reporting on crime rates because that draws, or reporting on, if you're Fox News, you're reporting on immigrants, you're reporting on kids thinking that they're cats, which they don't. That doesn't exist. It's a planted fucking story. But, kind of controlling, I don't want to say controlling the narrative because it's the whole wrestling thing, but yeah, controlling the discourse, controlling the narrative. But there are things happening. We can't forget that. We can't give them our hope, because if despair is left, they win. And I don't mean that as a cliche. I mean, really, if we're despairing, we're just like, well, I'll just get my nut and be comfortable. But then that just gives them free reign to do whatever they want. And I think they've gotten enough reign as it is. So fuck them. Keep fucking them up however you can, because everybody's praxis looks different, but everybody's praxis matters. And we keep mobilizing, we keep organizing, and that's how we win. So I think I did great. I'm gonna cut out here while I'm winning. Do you have anything you want to add, good sir?
I have nothing that I could possibly add, bro. You answered and you went so far above and beyond. I feel like you covered every base 3 times over.
There, perfect. Next question from Super.
What do Republicans really mean when they say that they support? Wait, I'm gonna read this verbatim because I always have a hard time with certain things. What do Republicans really mean by they support small business?
You know what? It's weird to answer this one, right? Because I don't think they do. I just think that's something that they say to come off as like populist, or at the very least like pro.
You know what, dude? You gave
naive
such a
version of
long
capitalism.
answer the last time. I actually have a good one for this.
Sure, you go ahead, man. I'll take it.
What Republicans want you to believe they mean when they say they support small businesses is that they support the mom and pop shops. They support the startups. They support, your mom and pop diners and grocery stores and the nice small little businesses that are local, that employ local people, that run off of local business and all that stuff that might cost a little bit more money, but it's worth it to support local business. That's what they want you to believe. But what they really actually believe, and what they're just using those words as a front to say, is that they support big business, is that they support big corporations, is that they support capitalism.
100%. Perfect.
Okay. Third question from Super Blue. If I could save the world, crush the rich, burn Fox News to the ground, and destroy every dumbass Republican, would you finally believe in the heart of the cards?
I think I already kind of believe in the heart of the cards because I saw the show and it works. To give a somewhat serious answer, though, I think I would, but only if you could show that you can create as well as you can destroy. Because, you can burn all that to the ground, and that's definitely great. But what comes after? Because a vacuum is a vacuum is a vacuum, and we want to fill it with something positive. We don't want even further reactionaries, which I don't know how you even go even further right than this. I'm kind of horrified to think about that, to be honest. But some opportunists would want to. So if you could show me that after all destruction, this is our post-revolutionary society, that is what would ultimately get me to believe in the heart of the cards. And I will draw any blue-eyed white dragon that I need to make that shit happen.
I'm the exact opposite, actually. I don't believe in the heart of the cards, and there's literally nothing you could possibly do to get me to believe in the heart of the cards, because at the end of the day, the heart of the cards is just dumb luck. That's all it is. It's just fucking Yugi getting lucky, which is really just comes back to, it's just the fucking writers of the show making their protagonist lucky to get kids to believe in the heart of the cards, to sell the cards so that the kids think they can win with them. It's capitalism all over again.
Yo, I feel like I've been very well behaved so far this Q&A. So I just need to have a minute just to say this. You guys need to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! With this motherfucker, because it is the most amazing experience you will ever have in your... This dude is always fucking on one with every duel. Oh, that's stupid. Oh, Joey, you stupid. Like it's just, he criticizes every move because he knows moves they should make. And I joke with him, I'm like, dude, you should be a part of the friend group. because it would be fucking hysterical. The one of the protagonists would win the duel. They'd be like, "Yeah, great job, Joey," and Ash would be like, "Yeah, it was okay, I guess. I mean, you could have won 6 turns ago if you had just done this instead."
Yeah.
No, a win's a win. It's amazing. It is amazing. I fucking love this, man. Honestly, we watched you. I'm to get a little bit ahead because I would have said this with a rotten butter question. We watched Yu-Gi-Oh together a few nights ago. First of all, the sub is magical. You guys really should if you haven't watched the sub. It's amazing. And just hearing his commentary, him get frustrated with certain plays. I even got frustrated because the sub, again, goes into more detail than the dub. And they tried to make it seem like with Joey's duel against Johnson, because we're in the virtual world arc, like, oh, the goddess of luck has abandoned me. And I straight up even said in National Pop, I'm like, no, dude, you have a gambling problem. Like look inward. You have a problem. And it's just amazing. I want this man on a future season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't care if he's the friend. I don't even care if he's the fucking antagonist. I think that'd be even funnier, honestly. It's amazing. It's amazing. So with that, I think we can get to our next question.
Our next question being, how do you feel about the passing of Kevin Conroy, who was the voice of animated Batman, and Jason David Frank, who was the original Green Ranger and then White Ranger and then Red Ranger?
Okay,
Tommy.
I'm going to be very brief with this.
Tommy. I'm sure you recognize that name.
I'm going to be very brief with this because I know, especially for the Ranger question, you will have more to say than me. Just because, again, I know you've done Power Rangers, we watch stuff like that. When it comes to Batman, I don't think I ever watched the animated series in full, but I watched enough to hear his voice. And I will this is the highest compliment I can give him, even for filthy casuals like myself, of like animated Batman and properties that Kevin Conroy specifically was associated with. You left a mark when I hear your voice in any Batman that I think about, or like in whatever. Now, there have been great Batman since, but that dude, I think, really got the ball rolling. I think Pattinson and Bale and like all those people, I think Will Arnett did Batman for the Lego movies. I think they owe him Conroy to thank, because I think he definitively, and I know the Burton movie I think came before the animated series, but I would say he definitively made Batman cool again. I think he got him out of the Adam West era and back to where he kind of belonged and what a lot of comic book fans associated him with. In fact, you'll even see a lot of fans be like, he embodied the Batman of the comics. So that's huge. As far as Tommy from Power Rangers, I really have nothing to say about that, except I did see a video, some of it, I really couldn't stomach it mentally, of Amy Jo Johnson getting on, and she was such a fucking sweetheart because she was crying her eyes out, but she was checking in on everyone else. And if that doesn't tell you the kind of human being
dude, she is
a
fucking angel.
Yeah, and I will say this, and I hope I'm not overstepping. I did hear it was a suicide.
Yes.
Guys, I've worked at a crisis line. I've kind of shared that experience before.
Oh, shit.
There is a mental...
Bro, I don't want to cut you off, but we just got 5 extra questions. I'm going to slot these in before Foster's, because I know Foster loves to go last. But we just got 5 extra questions from Abel, so we've got 18 now.
Oh, fucking awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you, Abel. I love you, son. But no, having worked at a crisis line, look, guys, I can tell you, and I think COVID made it even worse, because I think we've been dealing with it for a long while, but COVID made it explode. We have not just a, COVID pandemic, because even though the government's trying to push it under the rug, COVID is still very much happening. We have a mental health pandemic. I mean, you had Japan, they appointed a minister of sadness. The U.S. has like huge rates of depression. We know that we're dealing with.
Oh, dude, I can actually fill in some gaps that you might not be aware of. Apparently, Jason David Frank, I guess, got caught cheating on his wife, and she filed for divorce back in August. And apparently that is a huge contributing factor to what led to him killing himself.
You know what? Potential hot take, and I feel like I've been on a roll this Q&A, so I don't want to fumble the ball. That's another thing. Like, this isn't the time to have this conversation, because I think mental health is the more important one. But then I think, like, why do people cheat? Maybe it's because we socialize people in a monogamous culture that maybe it just doesn't work for them. I don't know. Yeah. I wish we would be able to talk more. Not that it's okay to cheat. I'm not saying that. I wish we would be able to talk more, though, about, like, well, why did you cheat? What's the driving force behind why you did it? And be able to have that conversation without, like, oh, they're trash, or if it's a woman that did it, oh, she's just a slut, you can't turn her into a housewife, or if it's a guy, he's a dog, once a cheater, always cheater. We should be able to talk about it because, like, it's a biological thing, for one. Like, obviously, it's a chemical thing and all that stuff. But I think also it is a cultural thing. Like, people feel things, right? You could
Right.
be attracted to somebody and then feel like, whatever. And for me, again, this isn't the time to talk about this, and I'm probably doing it horribly, and I do apologize because again, that is awful on all sides. But this is why I don't believe in monogamy, though. And like, I'm not even somebody that's like actively looking for a relationship, but I'm like, if you love somebody, cool. But if you want to have fun with somebody and it's purely physical, like, I don't necessarily see a problem with that either. I think all parties should consent, mind you, and that's a problem, because then if you don't get it and then you do it anyway, well, then you should just tell them, I really want this, so maybe it should just make me reassess this relationship. But we should be able to talk about it more, and we shouldn't be monocultural when it comes to romance, by which I mean monogamy is the only legitimate form of romantic love out there. Because if you've got consenting adults involved, I think that really opens the field. I think we need to have a bigger imagination about it, because then maybe this stuff wouldn't happen so often.
Yeah.
But that's tragedy for everybody, man. And like I said, as far as just the passings, don't have much to say about either, really. I had a bit more to say about Conroy. But now, please, if you would like to say anything, and again, especially about Tommy, because I know you've done the Power Rangers rewatch and
Yeah,
stuff.
I have nothing to say about Kevin Conroy. I didn't even watch the show that he was the Batman for. I have no connection to him whatsoever. It's obviously tragic whenever anyone dies, but especially public figures that people have connections to. I know a lot of people in our Discord felt connection to him, and it sucks whenever that happens. But yeah, for me, it was definitely the Jason David Frank thing, and the thing that really got to me wasn't Jason David Frank passing like as its own thing. It was just the reactions of all of the other people that were in his life. Like I saw, dude, between Amy Jo Johnson, like you mentioned, and Walter Jones, the guy that played Zach in the original Power Rangers show. Dude,
Yeah.
it is so fucking like those people were so close to him, and they lost such a good friend. Because that's the thing too, is right. He seemed like such a good fucking guy and such a nice guy, and he really was trying in his own way to make the world a better place. Like he was
Yeah.
trying really hard to help people. He was trying, man. He wasn't out here like preaching leftist fucking values or anything like that. But you don't have to do that in order to be a good person. And I really do think that
No.
JDF was a good person, and I really do think that he was out here just trying to make things better, trying to help people, even if it was only one person at a time. I mean, shit, we've got fucking David Yost and Walter Jones, the original Blue and Black Ranger, Billy and Zach, are going to actually be starring in the upcoming Power Ranger series Cosmic Fury. So in my mind, I'm thinking there's probably a pretty good chance that they're going to want to bring Jason David Frank back for another, because he comes back. He's probably the person that's been in the most seasons of Power Rangers, because they bring him back for all kinds of stuff. They've brought him back for special appearances. They bring him back for almost every like reunion episode that they do, and now that's just done. That just can't happen anymore, and it fucking sucks, man. It blows. And even Javaris in chat is pointing out Austin St. John, who was the original Red Ranger Jason, had a falling out with JDF. Those two were not talking with each other. There were rumors that they were going to try and do some kind of a cast reunion. And when it came out that JDF was going to be there, Austin St. John put out a video that he would not be there. So it was like he was straight up just trying to avoid JDF. Like they were not close. They were butting heads. They weren't talking. They had a falling out, like Javar said. And even Austin St. John gave condolences to JDF. Because this is fucking tragic. Like this is, and it really is, like you said, it really is like a societal thing. It's like people who are happy and people who are, living lives where they feel like they are not letting anyone down, don't kill themselves. And so obviously there was something wrong going on in JDF's life where he felt like he was letting someone down, or maybe he even felt like he was letting himself down, or his fans, or somebody, or maybe multiple people, and he just felt like he couldn't take it anymore, and he felt like not living would be a better option than living, and it's super fucking tragic, and it's really sad. And I let out a few tears over it, just going through the different Instagram posts that I saw from other former Rangers and how he inspired them, and even like more recent Rangers from more recent seasons. Like even the current season, there were actors and actresses that are on current and more recent seasons talking about how much they loved Tommy and how much he inspired them and how they're the reason that they wanted to be actors and actresses in the Power Rangers franchise in the first place. And it's like, fuck. We lost that day. It's terrible.
I'm telling you, man, we need, and I know a lot of people say it, but I'm talking, we really need to get our hands in the dirt and really talk about mental health and what causes these problems. Because I guarantee you, again, having worked the crisis line as many hours as I have, so many problems that I see from suicidal people or people that are self-harming or what have you, it can all be traced back in one way or another to a structural problem, whether it's how we disseminate our values and what values we disseminate, just beyond that. Capitalism, obviously, which we talk about to death.
Yes.
All these things, because I mean, cases that I'll see, it's like things aren't going well at my job, school's really hard, my family's bullying me. Well, all these things, the family, a long-standing institution of the state, to be like, oh, the family has to be respected, all this stuff. Job, we talk capitalism to death.
Yep.
College, we talked about universal education to death. Like it's this system kills people, and I'm not even
dude, I literally, not to make it about capitalism versus communism, which I guess I'm gonna have to do anyway, but literally, like, people always talk about, oh, communism has killed so and so many millions of people, and I'm just like, bruh, have you seen the state of things right now? Can we talk about how many millions of people die every year because they don't have insurance, or they have insurance but they can't afford their copay, or they can't afford what their insurance won't cover, so they don't go to the doctor to get their shit fixed, or food insecurity caused by capitalism, or, like, there's so much shit that capitalism, quote unquote, indirectly, even though it really is directly, but quote unquote indirectly cause harm and death because of the capitalism, that we don't talk about, that communism doesn't, gets credit for, quote unquote, or gets blamed for similar shit. It's like, God, like, I feel like even if you did like a per year comparison, capitalism still probably kills more fucking people than communism. And this is based on fucking authoritarian communist states, not the right kind of communism.
Exactly. And when you look at marriage, which is absolutely like a bourgeois institution and an institution of the state, it is like a government.
Dude, it's literally a religious institution, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, look, I don't think, now look, obviously, again, I just want to make explicitly clear, not cool that he cheated on his wife, obviously. But does that make him
breaking trust?
Fuck,
like,
no.
it's not good. It's not something that we're gonna, like, praise him for. It's not a good thing. It's a bad thing to do, because you're taking someone's trust and you're breaking it. That's horrible. But at the same time, it's not like something that should be punishable. Like.
Exactly. It's like nobody should, and I'm talking whether in like the public eye or in the court of law. It's like, look, it's something that can be talked about, and maybe that's the moment where we kind of reassess values in a relationship, both that are shared in the relationship and the values that each individual is carrying with themselves into that relationship. And we make it so hard to leave, and we make it like such a messy thing. And I don't just mean for couples like this. You think about abusive relationships and stuff like that, how hard it is to leave because of the economic security or whatever. We do not take care of people. Like, to me, the only healthy relationship is one that you're able to leave intact. But I feel like then, by that definition, when you look at how the broader apparatus arranges marriage and everything else, even the happiest of the marriages aren't necessarily as healthy as they could be because of the structural inequities.
Yep.
Like, oh, if I leave, I lose all, and all that stuff. And that fear might have crossed his mind, like, oh God, if she leaves or we get divorced, like, how is that going to affect me? How is that going to affect my ability to provide for my family? And like all of that, though, again, could be brought back to a structural/cultural issue. And it's such a shame. I think the way the society is organized is killing people. Yep. And I do. I think, with him. Kevin Conroy, I don't know. I know he was dealing with cancer. I don't know if we could really say healthcare with him, because he was a very successful voice actor and stuff like that, although voice actors are grossly underpaid. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Either. So I don't know if, like, I think healthcare is always worth talking about. Maybe more could have been done for him. Maybe not. I don't know. But I know that, it's sad. It's sad, Kevin Conroy, I know for the Saga community, because he was gay himself, really meant a lot to those people. And like you said, man, JDM, I mean, you said it more beautifully than I ever could, especially with your knowledge of it. It's just a shame, man. That's all you can really say. It's a fucking shame.
Yep. It really is. It really, really is. It's the world is worse for not having, at the very least, JDF. Like I said, I can't speak on Kevin Conroy, but the world it's a worse place for not having Jason David Frank be a part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's move on. Our next question from Super Blue. It's our fifth and final question from him, and he said, I love this. How do you feel about your second run covering AEW? February 16th, 2022 to November 19th, 2022.
I just wanted to say, and again, I've been doing really good. I'm going to try not to turn up unnecessarily. AEW, you're welcome, because that's time in my life I'll never get back, and I spent it on you, and you didn't spend it wisely, I got to tell you. But yeah, it had some fun moments. I don't think we would have stuck it out that long if there weren't some bright flashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to never covering you again. I'm enjoying it right now, actually. It's quite beautiful. How do you feel about
I
it,
won't
friend?
go as far as to say never again. I'm still open to covering them again. I just really need a break. I really hope that they get their shit together. I mean, if they ever, I mean, dude, perfect example. Literally, if they hire Chris Roach to be like a head writer for them, our interest is going to go way back up for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I will say as a caveat, like I'm open to, but that's again why we have this week in the world of wrestling
Yes.
in review,
Yes.
because I would probably resign. Like, do I want to live react to 4 hour pay-per-views that just make me mad and or just apathetic?
Right.
No, not particularly.
Right.
Not particularly. I'm trying to really think about how those hours could be spent. I'm grateful for that new series, because anytime we want to talk about AEW again and Ashton's really excited, I'm like, cool, bud. Save that energy for Saturday. Oh, yeah, Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. That's really where I'm at.
Wow.
That's really because like I watched that MJF segment and I'm like, eat my whole ass.
Oh,
To
you
the
got around to
last
watching
year.
it. Amazing.
I-
Yes.
I did. And the only good thing about it, and fuck you AEW for knowing it, is that it's teasing for the next big pay-per-view, MJF versus Danielson, who
Yeah.
could get a 5-star match literally out of the feces I make in the toilet every morning. And you know that, AEW, and so you're manipulating me just as you've been manipulating me this whole time. But again, I can watch it and talk about it on Saturday. And you can all join us on Saturdays, because that's when we review the whole week in the world of wrestling, which they're a part of. And MJF had the audacity to say, oh, if you want to see me wrestle, you're going to have to see it on pay-per-view. Well, joke's on you, asshole, because I don't and I won't. Fuck you. So, yeah, that's pretty much where I'm coming from with it. Can things change? Of course they can change. But right now, I got to be honest, I am really in my feelings, and facts may not care about my feelings, but it was never said that feelings had to care about facts. Not in this fucking case. You really got to make a turnaround, AEW, for me to open my heart up, because that was some bullshit. That was some real bullshit. So we'll see.
It's so funny.
But,
You were saying I am really, and I filled that in my mind, and it wasn't what you said. So you're really up in your feelings. I am really, really, really burned out on AEW and kind of American wrestling and really non-stardom wrestling in general at this point. I'm just like,
Oh,
give me a
I've been
break
there a
from
long
all
time.
of it.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
literally,
No,
dude, you got to
Yeah.
realize Thanksgiving Day this past week, I was in a call with Craig, and Curtis showed up, and I was like, hey, Curtis, can we not talk about wrestling today, please? Like, I explicitly said that shit out loud to him in a wrestling Discord, because I just was not up for it, just straight up.
Dude, I haven't been there in a while. And the crazy fucking thing is, and I'll say it's mostly the bloodline, Kevin Owens, like all that stuff, and Bray. That stuff is making me warm up more to WWE right now, where I may be giving WWE tentatively like another go. But AEW, again, I know Never's hyperbolic, and it's deliberately hyperbolic. But yeah, like, the pay-per-views are too long. The shows aren't compelling enough for me. You've got talent, and I know this is partially bias, that, I don't think you're using correctly, and therefore I'm going to check out. By which I mean check out mentally of your product. And yeah, like, I feel like on one hand, if I'm being sincere, I do think MJF can be a strong heel champion. It was a weird first promo, and it infuriated me how they got rid of Regal, and now I don't know if Regal's going back to WWE or not, or what the deal is there. But yeah, like, it just, why did you have to get there that way? Why did it have to be that way? I will say, to AEW's credit, so that we can end on a positive note, because again, I think I've been really good this Q&A. Moxley and Hangman did a great segment. That I enjoyed. And also it had a bit of unintentional comedy, because Moxley tripped at one point in the brawl with Hangman. That was kind of funny. But that should be a great program. I loved Hangman's Fire in that. That was great. And so, yeah, I think AEW is still doing good things. It's just even the good things, when you're in the place that I'm in, it's like I'm watching I'm not like the door's not shut, but I'm not coming into the room. I'm watching from the little crack in the door. That's kind of where I am right now.
All right. Let's get to our next set of questions then. Our first, after that, it was Rotten Butter, actually. First up from Rotten Butter is the usual first Rotten Butter question, and he specifically said, I will not be silenced. I feel like I've gotten your questions. This is the third month in a row now that I've gotten your questions, Rotten Butter. August was the last time I missed them.
Yeah, the system isn't the problem for once, which goes contrary to literally everything else I've ever said ever. But when we're the system, of course, I'm going to be biased. But anyway, I know Ashton and I and his mom, we all did Wednesday together recently.
Yes!
Solid series.
Oh, it was so fun. Amazing. And I will say, I figured out who the villain was by like the third episode.
He was. I was there for it. I was a witness. He's very big-brained. It's amazing. Because
there was a lot of baits and switches going on, and I was like, I saw through that shit. I saw, no, this is who it is because of this, this, and this, and it ended up being right by the end of it. I will say, though, it's weird. It advertises itself as, like, a horror comedy, and, like, the comedy I get, I don't really think it's that scary. I think it's more of a mystery comedy.
Definitely.
Because it's more whodunit than, like, edge of your seat scary kind of thing.
Yeah. We have started over here Christmas movies. We did the Santa Claus last night, which they still hold up, regardless of how you feel about Tim Allen, and I have very strong feelings. Great in the movie. I'm assuming if we have time, which I'm certain we will, we'll do the Santa Claus 2 tonight, and we'll just keep on that track. So yeah, we're doing Christmas movies now. With the family, oh god, guys, because this also covers November. That's right, because we didn't do a Q&A in November, so we're really just thinking about November because December just started. Did the anime Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Y'all, I have not felt that strongly about an anime in so fucking long.
Was it amazing?
It was amazing.
Wow.
I loved it. Look, guys, let me tell you something about your old pal John here. Now, I know I've usually told you the basics. I'm, maladjusted. I might want to do a little bit of cannibalism as a treat. I wasn't hugged enough at the age of 7. The usual stuff. But the important thing to remember, I am fine, sir. The important thing, in all seriousness, to remember, you're adorable. I love you.
No,
but
you.
The important thing to remember is I am very sensitive, and I actually do enjoy a good romantic property if it's done right. Like, you're talking to a guy on some real shit that was raised on Lifetime movies and Golden Girls. And the Lifetime movies were all just hammy as shit in the best way. Golden Girls, though, taught me a lot of important life lessons. Mainly that you can solve anything with your friends in a nice slice of cheesecake. But this show, I've always liked the cyberpunk aesthetic, even though it's funny because obviously it's always meant to be dystopian. But the characters were great. I would say watch the subbed. I would say if I had to knock anything for it, I did not care for the dubbed at all because I did listen to little bits and pieces of it. Subbed is freaking great. Love the characters. The love between Lucy and David. I loved reading the Reddit threads on it because it's flawed. I mean, they're definitely flawed, and there are definitely things. It's one of those things where it's like, why didn't you guys communicate? That sort of thing. I'm not going to lie about that. But honestly, I didn't care. The aesthetics were great. The story was great. I cried at the end. It was beautiful, and it's 10 episodes, and it's a standalone thing. I don't think we're getting any more, which depresses the fuck out of me. But it was amazing. We've still got Castlevania to watch. We watched like maybe the first 2 episodes of that. Castlevania, y'all, let me tell you, for an anime adapted from a video game, the love and the effort they've put into that whole anime, amazing. Also, we've watched more comedic anime, Way of the House Husband, which is low-key kind of a fever dream because it's about this Yakuza boss that is retired, and he's married, and like it is, as the anime says, house husband. And that's just kind of wild. We watched the movie. Ashton, you can help me with this one because I always forget the title. They did an American version with Chloe Moretz, the vampire one that I told you I watched
Let the Right One In.
Last month. Let the Right One In. Really good movie, y'all. You want to talk about like a love story, even if we're talking about a love story of like friendship, that was really creative. And I got to tell you, there was a time, much like zombies, and I think zombies are finally starting to calm down, maybe possibly a little bit with the Walking Dead ending. That like vampires kind of, I know, double that. I second that. Vampires oversaturated the media. This was a really well done story. I watched I'm not emotional and I don't need a hug. I watched Old Boy recently, and I'm not okay.
It fucked
I'm not
you.
okay, really. It fucks with you, and it stays with you. But you know, the one good thing to come out of Old Boy, if you've watched Shakespeare, or excuse me, if you've read Shakespeare, although Watch can also, they've done film adaptations, but if you've read Shakespeare and you've read Oedipus, you can say, don't talk to me about the anime, Old Boy, until you've read the manga. You can make a meme, because we all know memes mask our pain. So just carry that with you, folks, if you travel the road of watching the first Old Boy film, because it is, I gotta tell you, bro, and I wanted to tell you this actually in the midst of me like raving about it to you. I am amazed Max Landis never taught about that film, because that seems like a film he would fucking love, because it's just so out there and it's so creative with the details that it pays attention to. It seems like his movie, especially when, keep in mind, bro, the only reason we watched a movie like Love Exposure was because of him, because he recommended it. It seems right there for him. So that was another thing I was thinking about too. I'm like, man, he'd fucking love this movie. So that my sister watched the back of her eyelids because she slept, but you know that's cool. I don't mind suffering alone. It's not a problem. Watched Love Is Blind season 3. Started that. Really, I mean, reality TV is reality TV. I'm a raccoon. I can enjoy my trash every now and again. It's good stuff. Oh, you want to talk about trash though? Something else we watched recently, Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude. This has never happened to me before. I actually told the family I was done watching it because apparently 2 of the cast members were involved in like a sexual misconduct thing. Like one of them was obviously the victim of it. Right. The other one was perpetrator. And the whole show was going down. It was this whole thing. They actually, I'm like, this is so disgusting and manipulative. The host gets all the people back on the show except for the 2 people that were, implicated in the thing. And they're like, oh, let's talk about how it made you feel. And I'm like, oh God, are we really doing this? And it's like, oh, well, the producers treat us so well. And, we have a right to say no. People think that we're controlled by the producers, but, we don't have to drink, because the implication was that they made the woman drink, which made her more vulnerable, which, I mean, you can connect the dots. And, then the most awkward moment. I'm going to be careful how I present this one here, because I'm not a fool either about optics. Because the man that was accused was black and the woman was white. But I don't think this was like a Karen situation from my understanding. But they were like, because one of the cast members was like, I had a lot of empathy for him as a black man, and that was a very valid response. And it's fair because it's true. We've seen the people, they know what 911 is to a black person in a white supremacist society. They know all that stuff. And you see it a lot. But then this host, like they're breaking ground, like they're raising collective consciousnesses. Well, let's talk about that. Do we think that this had to do with race? And I'm out. Because you're really gonna try and have back up this Bachelor in Paradise is gonna talk about racism. I'm sorry, even the sentence, I can't help but laugh saying that sentence. So no, I gave up on that. That's a dumpster fire. Love Is Blind though, even though it had its own controversies, because that recently got sued because a contestant said they overworked us. We got $1,000 flat rate per week, working 20 to 24 hours a day. Sometimes we didn't even sleep and they didn't feed us because they wanted to emotionally manipulate us to make decisions. So yeah, that's a bit horrifying too. But that's
classic reality television.
I know. So that's depressing. But then on the music side, because I'm pretty sure I watched more stuff, but honestly, between Old Boy and then how horrid reality TV is.
Well, bro, we watched Big Mouth this month. We went through the first 5 seasons and then watched season 6 this month.
Season 6 was so fucking good.
It really was. Oh, Atlanta.
How does the... Oh, Atlanta. All 4 fucking seasons. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Talk about, Afro surrealism. Atlanta's the fucking shit. I am, actually, that's another thing, too. I wish I could remember the names of these movies. Brian Tyree Henry, I saw a movie he's going to be in with Jennifer Lawrence from A24. And he looks like he's amazing in that.
We know Donald Glover's going to be... He was the one that was Paperboy. Yeah, that's Paperboy.
Yeah.
Let's see. From what was it, 24?
A24. Him and Jennifer Lawrence in a movie.
Him and J-Law, huh?
Yeah, apparently she's producing it too, and she's kind of having a career resurgence, and she's producing her own fucking films and probably has more creative control and doesn't have to deal with bullshit.
Um,
But whatever
I'm
that
not
movie was
seeing
called, I
anything
saw a
about
trailer.
A24. You said this is a movie?
Yeah, A24 is like releasing it. Speaking of Brendan Fraser's film, The Whale, that looks amazing. I think I watched the trailer for that this November.
Oh, I found
So
it.
that was
Causeway.
incredible too. That's it, Causeway. So A24 is doing that.
Dude, that's been
A24
out.
is
That
doing The
came
Whale,
out in
which I'm
October, bruh.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I gotta see if Go Watch Series has that. I really want to see that. I'd be down to watch that with you actually if you'd be open because again it
I'd
looks
have to
pretty
check out a
solid to me.
trailer. I'm not super into J Law personally.
But I know what was it? Love and Bones or something like that. The Cannibalist Love Story. I've seen a trailer for that. I know that's also out. I'm
Oh
looking for a
god,
good
the
quality
sexy
version because you know
cannonball. Oh god.
I know. I am so fucking ready to be catered to by broader and classier cinema. I'm like, it is time. Us.
Oh my
There are
god.
dozens of us.
Oh no.
Dozens. Um.
What's that kid? Timothy Oliphant or Timothy Chalamet, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I actually saw another trailer today. Now this movie's also out, but this looked really good. Actually, I saw two more
Bones
A24.
and all.
A24 is coming out.
That's
with
what it's
really
called.
stuff.
Bones and all.
Bones and I always get the name of the movie wrong, but it's one that I really want to see. Yeah, I'm totally watching that when a quality version gets released. I am so fucking there. But I don't have problems. You all have problems. I'm perfect. But I saw said the guy when nobody was coming for him, but everybody was rightfully concerned. I saw two other A24 trailers because they're coming out with a lot of good stuff.
What is A24?
One, it's this like movie company, like this production company. I think they did more like indie films, but I think they're starting to become more mainstream after Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like that movie gave them a lot of momentum. Because they were behind that movie too.
Okay.
But yeah, Finn Wolford and
Oh, I know
somebody
who he
else.
is.
Somebody else. I actually recognized a girl in this movie too. She was in 13 Reasons Why. She was one of the few redeeming parts of it. So it wasn't all bad. And I think it was something when you're done saving the world. And it's like a coming of age story, but that looks pretty promising, I think. And then the one that I saw that actually looked really good, and then I'm like, I bet this would make me cry, was called Close. And it's about these two childhood boys that are really like best friends, but they're very intimate best friends. You know, like they'll sleep together, they'll like platonically cuddle and stuff like that. And then one of the girls asks them at school, like, "Are you homosexual?" And the boy takes offense to that, like that internal, socialized homophobia, probably by the parents,
Right.
masculinity, all that shit. And then something happens. I'm not saying it that way to spoil, to protect you guys. I don't even know what happens. That's how they frame it. And the friendship kind of goes to stuff. And I'm like, man, a friendship story about boys and this and that. Like, I think like a Foster probably loves this movie too, because I've seen him talk about male issues. We've talked about it. Mental health and emotional expression and all that stuff. It seems like a movie a lot of men, I would hope, would be able to appreciate and be able to see because it really looks beautiful. That's another one that if I could find a quality version, I did not find it on Go Watch, but that's even a movie that if I had $5-6 to spare, I might even rent it to see it. That looked really powerful. So
What
that was
movie is
another
this?
trailer that I saw. It's called Close. It came out this year. I think it came out this year.
Wait. It says that it's a dead film. It says the movie's dead.
Movie's dead. What?
I'm looking. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I first of all, I want to apologize to you for making you feel the way I just made you feel. I just misread.
Yeah.
It's like I saw dated. It was dated films, not dead films. It's dated. It's set to come out January 20th.
Interesting, because I had heard that it had already come out, but then again,
It has come out in other countries.
Oh, but this would be a U.S. release, then
Yeah.
you're saying January 20th. Well, then that's great, because then I'm guessing Go Watch. Yeah, okay, so I can bite my time. I can definitely, I can wait it out. Because, yeah, that movie, I'm thinking that's going to be really, really good. And I honestly might even cry, just from what I saw. I know Whale would probably make me cry, because Brendan Fraser, man, he only had one line in that trailer. I wish I could remember what it was, but his delivery, I teared up at a trailer, which, again, I told this to Ash, I didn't tell this to you guys. We had talked about it. I definitely teared up, too, at the Wakanda Forever teaser. But, yeah, that trailer also got me to tear up. So, I don't know. It's starting to get a bit better. As far as music goes, I have discovered this channel, Deep Space Media, which is kind of the new montage rock for me since they haven't uploaded in forever, and it makes me sad. And I've discovered some songs there. I know Nevertell came out with a song modified. Fucking love Nevertell. Mosaic actually announced they're coming out with new music in January, so I'll
Nice.
probably have that
There
to
you go.
say in our first quarterly Q&A. Really excited for them to come out with new music. The Cyberpunk Edge Runner soundtrack. I found a playlist that's just good fucking shit. So yeah, it was a good music month as well. Polo G came out with a song, Back Talk. That was pretty good on the more rapping side. Yeah, it was Lost in Sight was one band that I discovered through Deep Space Media. I want to listen to more of their stuff. And what was it? I am Awaken I Am is another group. They did a song Roses. I thought that was pretty good. And I hate to say it because they're conservative trash and seemingly really far right. There is a Trapped song that I like because I heard it on a wrestling like
Hey man,
MV.
I've got 3 or 4 of them. It's all good.
It's product of my own design. You know what, bro? I knew if anybody could relate, you could. Because I was even going to ask you today, hey, man, do you ever hear those bops from people that you know are pieces of shit and you kind of feel like a piece of shit because you're so powerless to the
Oh,
bop?
dude,
And I know we could have
Who's
with that.
Going Home
So,
with You Tonight is like an all-time butt rock fave of mine.
yeah. Oh, and I'm
You
guessing
know
the
what song I'm
group.
talking about, right? Who's Going Home
I
with You
don't
Tonight
think
by
I do.
Trapped?
No, I don't think I've ever heard that song. I'll
Oh,
have to
okay.
YouTube it
God,
now.
I'm old. Fuck.
No, bro, believe me, it's fine because I'll probably YouTube it given that I did like this song from them. And yeah, we know what like far right pieces of shit they are. So that's great. But yeah. Yeah, Foster even
To
said
be
in
fair,
response
I
to that
liked
movie,
that
I
song
gotta check
before I
it.
knew they were pieces of shit.
No, that's totally fair. And that's what makes me worse because I knew they were pieces of shit and I'm like, I can't stop listening to it. Oh God, you're the worst communist ever. Fuck. And then I had to listen to the Soviet national anthem like 50
Oh
times.
my
Of course, that's a
God.
joke. But yeah, music was good. Yeah, Javaris, no, same energy, Javaris. I do not blame you. Do not blame you. I am a victim, good sir. Uh, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else to report on my end. I know there have been things that I've wanted to check out on my own time. I haven't had time, so I know that doesn't count because it's only things we've actually watched. Yeah, I think I'm good. So I'm gonna hand you the floor now if you want to talk about stuff.
Okay, so Big Mouth, obviously we kind of touched on that briefly. Just want to double down. Big Mouth is amazing. It's really just we talked about like they need to start showing this show in high schools for sex ed. It's so fucking good. Like it's not only is it really good at like this is how emotional health should work, but also like if you're not up and up on like actual like sexual terminology and sexual like reproductive stuff, it's like it's educational and it's entertaining. It's good edutainment, right, John?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
They have like whole episodes dedicated to educational subjects. Like there's a whole episode dedicated to fuck John, I'm forgetting the name of the reproductive rights, the sexual health place.
Oh, Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood, thank you. They have a whole episode dedicated to just teaching you about Planned Parenthood and what they do and stuff like that. They have one of the first, I think the second or third episode of the entire series is like a girl getting her period for the first time and the struggles that come with that. There are episodes about blackness. There are episodes about womanhood and what it means to be a woman in today's society and stuff like that. And there's an episode about loving your body and not being ashamed of it and stuff like that. It's really a great fucking show as far as like, well, it's first of all, it's fucking hilarious. So just get that out of the way first of all. It's like, in my opinion, like I've literally said this: if The Simpsons can get 30-something seasons, I see no reason why Big Mouth can't get at least that much. Because to me, the Big Mouth connects way more with me from an entertainment standpoint, from a comedy standpoint, than The Simpsons ever did. But then on top of the entertainment, it's also just like a really I don't even know. Helpful is maybe, I don't even know if that's a, it's just a good fucking show. It's entertaining, it's educational, it's it helps. It makes you like, it helps you to understand things better. It's like Adam Ruins Everything and The Simpsons had a baby, and it's better than both.
Informative in a word. It's informative.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not afraid to have those discussions about sexuality, about gender.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's amazing. It's the most sexually progressive show I think I've ever seen. I mean, TV in a broad sense because it's streaming, obviously, but like, you know, it's the most sexually progressive media I've seen. And I've also watched Netflix's Sex Education, which is another amazing show. I would say Big Mouth goes even harder than Sex Education does.
Dude, like, it's funny.
It really does.
You mentioned 13 Reasons Why earlier, or Abel mentioned 13 Reasons. You did too. You mentioned an actress from it.
Because, the actress with the...
Yeah. And Abel brought it up in chat, and Super Blue was like, that's still a thing? And Abel was like, to tackle hard-hitting issues facing teenagers today. And I'm like, wait a minute. If we're talking about a show that tackles hard-hitting issues facing teenagers today, there is literally no show better than that right now than Big Mouth, in my opinion.
Completely agree.
And you've seen a hell of a lot more of them than me, so you saying that gives my opinion far more validity than just me saying it.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, I completely agree with the way that they tackle this stuff.
Yeah.
And they have the nuance with it. That's what I love, too, is that they have the nuance with it. Like, they really go and they explore the emotions of different people and why they act the way that they do and social pressures and this and that. Like, there was a time, like, early on that you would think a guy like Jay Belzerian would be almost, like, kind of an antagonist in a way.
Yeah.
But, like, no, he actually becomes a very sympathetic character, and I think his growth has been fascinating to watch. And, like, I love that there are no black and white characters. Yeah, there are characters that do shitty things. Even Andrew, another guy that you could very easily buy, given the homie comes
that's
from
the
as an
thing,
antagonist.
too, right? Is, like, we there are so many great subjects that get hit on by the show because, like, you brought up Andrew. Toxic masculinity is a big thing that gets hit on with us, you know, focusing around Andrew, where, you know, the whole thing of him feeling like he owns Misty because, is it Misty or Missy? It's Missy, right?
It's Missy.
Missy, yeah. Him feeling like he owns Missy because he read at the fucking Hormone Monster's office that she still likes him. Like, oh, you like me, Missy. I know you like me. Just admit it. And that kind of thing. And then, like, him having, like, that possessiveness over her and hating Lars and the whole, oh, this guy walks and doing the whole thing like fucking Big Lebowski with fucking Walter being like, this guy's a fake. That whole thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, him throwing his little tantrum and then kicking and Missy outside and getting taped and making a fool out of. But, like, again, and literally the end of that episode, I think that was season 2, episode 1. It was like a special thing. It was like a Valentine's Day special or something like that. Literally, the last words of that special are Connie going, it's toxic masculinity. It's like, yeah, exactly. This is a problem, and now we see why it's a problem. If you didn't know before, now you know.
But what I love, too, about Big Mouth, just kind of pick up that baton very quickly, is that they let him suffer that humiliation rightly, but then he grows into a guy that, like, listens to people, hugs. I mean, he's still a bit pervy about it because he's like, let's all have a group, like, cum drain kind of thing. But he becomes, like, more sensitive and open. I think he regresses in some ways, but I think in other ways, like, he is getting better. And I like that. I like that just because Andrew had that really bad day experience that he brought on himself, he's not irredeemable because he's a kid and he's figuring things out. Like, I love that the show handles things that way.
And then, like, season 4, episode 1 is the fucking camp episode where Andrew and Nick end up basically being, like, fucking enemies and they hate each other, and Nick is like this victim basically, and with Tito the anxiety mosquito, you know, fucking his shit up and making him not want to get a shower, and then he ends up being soup and all that shit. And then Andrew has, you know, the crazy bowel disease or whatever the hell it is. And this whole time, not only is that going on, but we've also got in the background, we introduced a fucking trans character. And that's handled incredibly well.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
I think it's season 3 that they introduced Allie, who was like a pansexual character. Now,
which I will say about Ellie, apparently the show got complaints from the pansexual community that, like, the definition wasn't quite right. I couldn't tell you what the exact definition is off the top of my head. But to Big Mouth's credit, they put out a tweet sincerely apologizing. They didn't make any excuses, and they said going forward we'll be better. That's why I'm kind of hoping for season 7. I would like to see Allie get a meteor storyline because I liked what she did.
Yeah.
Oh god, I'm blanking on names. So there's Nick, Andrew, and what's the girl, the redhead? fucking
Oh, Jesse.
Yeah, thank you. Allie and Jesse, their whole like arc that one season I thought was great. So I'd like to see Allie get more stuff, and so we can see what pansexual like actually is in practice on the show. Because I mean, this season we got an asexual character, and that was fucking huge. So yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, and then like this season, season 6, I don't really want to spoil it, but it's been long enough that if you're gonna watch it, you're probably, I mean, I'm recommending you watch it now. But in season 6, we got a new thing introduced that hadn't really been discovered, really been talked about in the show previously. That's also a very unique sexual orientation that people don't really know how to handle. That the show handles very fucking well.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, Big Mouth's just a great show. I can't recommend it enough. Rotten Butter, if you're listening to this, you should check it out. Abel, I know you're here. Alex, Javaris, Super Blue, everyone, just check out Big Mouth if you haven't. It's fucking great. You might not, you might be uncomfortable. You might be made uncomfortable early on, and that's perfectly understandable because the show goes there. The show fucking goes there. Like literally in the first episode, a like 11 or 12-year-old kid jerks off on the floor next to his sleeping friend. Like it gets uncomfortable for sure, but you got to power through that shit because the show's excellent.
Yeah.
We found out this month that John Bernthal will officially return as the Punisher in Phase 5.
Yes. Oh God, that's great.
And this is why I'm not going to talk about it, but I, and not John, saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever this month. It was fucking excellent. It is now officially a top 4 all-time MCU movie for me, which speaks volumes because I've seen every single one, and the only ones that I haven't seen more than... Actually, I think Wakanda Forever is the only one that I haven't seen more than once so far. Because even Thor Love and Thunder and Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home, all the recent ones, I've seen all of those at least twice because I watch them in the theater and then I watch them with John when they come to Disney Plus.
Yes.
So I've seen all those multiple times even. As far as like anime stuff, Ash has officially won a Pokemon League again, I guess. I think he won the Alola League and now he's won another one. I think he won the Galar League.
Yeah, which was apparently seemingly a much bigger deal because everybody's like, he finally did it. He won a major championship.
Right.
So
because Alola, I don't know how Alola's treated, but I don't think they have like the gym badges, like the classic Victory Road kind of thing.
Yeah, Alex West said it was called the Masters 8, so that's no wonder, because he literally, if he won it, that means he's a Pokemon master.
Right.
So, yeah, good shit.
Cool.
Good shit.
Yeah. All right. I updated. I mean, shit. I might as well say this out loud on a Q&A. After seeing Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I posted in our Discord my updated list of my top 10 favorite MCU movies of all time. Would you like me to say it out, John?
Sure.
Okay, coming in at number 10 was Multiverse of Madness. At number 9 was the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. At number 8 was Spider-Man Far From Home. That was the one with Mysterio as the enemy. Number 7, Thor Ragnarok. Number 6, Avengers Infinity War. Number 5, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. 4 and 3, I'm a little iffy on, but right now at 4, I do have Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then at 3, I have Captain America the Winter Soldier. I'm kind of thinking I might want to put Wakanda Forever at 3 and move Winter Soldier back to 4, but I'll just keep it the way it is for now. And then on our rewatch, when I do my rewatch of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, when it hits Disney Plus and we can watch it together, I'll decide then. Number 2, Spider-Man No Way Home, which was the one that just came out last December with all the shit going on. And then, yeah, number 1 is still Avengers Endgame. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, it's fucking great. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah. What else have we done this month? I mean, dude, Atlanta was fucking incredible. I was literally talking to my mom on the way home about how much I fucking love Lakeith Stanfield. That dude's incredible.
Darius, right?
Yes.
Because I know you were... Yeah, that makes sense. Bro, actually, before either one of us forget, we have gotten back on Rick and Morty since they've been back.
Yes. They've only done 2 episodes this month, but it's still been fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and it still counts within, the period. And, oh my god, guys, if you're keeping up with Rick and Morty, the latest episode they did, I actually wish I would have gone in the, this appropriate spoiler channel in the Discord and talked about it, because as you can tell, you guys, I raved over the latest episode of Rick and Morty that they did. I thought that was one of the season's best. Either that or Night Family is the strongest season 6 entry.
Dude, I love
and
that episode.
and bro,
I love
love
the
that
fortune
neither
teller
one.
cookie episode too. That was another good one.
Dude, that one had an effect on my whole family because like they haven't seen it. They haven't seen it, but I told them that I learned from Rick and Morty that you got to eat the cookie before you read the fortune, or else it's not going to come true. And we do that now every time we get Chinese. It's fucking hilarious. But I'm not saying you weren't going to mention this. I'm going to assume that you weren't because I remembered something we watched, but it must have been so forgettable to both of us. I'm assuming again. We did Mortal Engines this month.
We did. We did do Mortal
yeah.
Engines. Yep. I was actually just about to mention that when you were done, and you ended up saying it before you finished. So there you go.
Oh wow! So yeah, you weren't gonna forget. You were better than me because I forgot it during my turn. But yeah, I remembered it, and I'm like, holy crap, we did do that.
Yep.
Yeah, what an underwhelming movie. So
it really was.
yeah.
It was really like, it was literally like, someone was like, guys, let's take Howl's Moving Castle, but make it live action and make it into a war between moving cities. And then they tried it and they couldn't do it, so it was just shittier.
And it sounds so cool, right?
Yeah.
When you say it.
Because Howl's Moving Castle was fucking excellent. We just watched that, like, within the last year or so, and it was great. I loved that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. God damn it.
We're both just so disappointed.
Yeah, speaking of animated stuff, we just very recently rewatched Zootopia and did the Zootopia, like,
literally,
series.
like 2 nights ago.
Yeah, 2 nights ago, yeah. Judy, I hate that you're a cop, because you are pretty adorable, but, you know, give up the badge.
If Judy Hopps was a real person, I still wouldn't want to date her.
No, certainly not. I mean, you know, honestly, I think the most honest that movie was about cops was that she was teaming with the mafia at the very end to get a guy, and I'm like, yeah, that tracks. I look at you two, and I literally can't tell the difference, so that tracks.
Oh, a huge update as far as my life goes, because obviously this isn't just about what you've watched. It's more just like a life update thing. Bro, November 2022 is going to go down as one of the craziest months of my entire life. Because as far as the one negative thing that happened to me this month is my tire blew on my car, and I got stranded in a mini golf parking lot for like 3 hours. It felt like, I think it was only like 45 minutes in real time, but it felt like for fucking ever. And then I had a fucking spare tire, and I couldn't go more than 30 miles an hour on it because of how shitty the spare tire was. And I had to drive all the way. It was like a 5-mile drive to get to the place that I would go to for my car. And they gave me a new tire, and it cost like $150. It was just a pain in the ass. That was the only negative thing, really, though, that happened to me this month. Last month, I should say now, because we are in December, but for November. But, dude, November, holy fuck. What an eventful month it was. I got YouTube TV, first of all, which, for those of you that don't know, YouTube TV is basically cable through the internet. So I have all of the basic cable channels, plus a few, like, sports channels and stuff like that. And like, you know, like USA Network and FX and all those fun, like, not quite premium, but like borderline premium channels. I get all that shit now. And it's like $55 a month, $65 a month. And then we pay an extra $11, I think it is, a month for NFL Red Zone, which comes with like a sports package that you can get. So even like at absolute most, we're going to be paying like $76 a month. Whereas if you go through Comcast, if you go through Xfinity, I should say, it's like $120 a month. And that's even before you add on the sports package to get like the Red Zone and shit. It's unbelievable. It's literally extortionist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got YouTube TV now. It's awesome. Literally, when we got it, the first thing I did was put on fucking, I think it was TBS, and Family Matters was on. We watched some Three's Company. We watched some Laverne and Shirley. It's been really fun. We've been using it now lately to watch, the wrestling shows, so we don't have to worry about the constant, oh, the stream went down, we got to refresh, we got to pull it back up. Oh, the stream went down, we got to refresh, we got to pull it back up. All that bullshit that you and I still have to put up with on pay-per-views, and I'm sure you still have to put up with more than me, but you don't even watch on live. You know, you don't watch like Raw and Dynamite and SmackDown live as they happen anymore. You just watch the clips when they get uploaded to YouTube, so you don't even deal with that anymore.
That's
either.
right, yeah.
Whereas I'm able to have it pulled up on my TV so my mom can watch it live, and it's actually like live. Like, you know, when we watch them on streaming services, if someone's watching them on the TV and we're in a call with them, they'll be like, "Oh shit, that's so cool." And we'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then 30 seconds later, we'll be like, "Oh shit, that's so cool," because it's like we're behind. But if I'm watching it on YouTube TV, we all see it at the same time. Like I'm seeing it at the same time that people with cable see it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really cool. And then, like, like I said, I get Red Zone channel now, so every Sunday I can just tune into that at 1 p.m. and have it on until like 7:30 in the evening, and I get to watch all the best moments from every football game without having to fight with an illegal stream. It's really nice.
Exactly.
Now, I will say the drawback, in my opinion, is the existence of streaming services. It's weird. It's because, like, I could be like, oh, I'm in the mood to watch South Park. I wonder if it's on Comedy Central, and I put on Comedy Central. And even if South Park's on, I just find myself being like, why the fuck would I want to watch South Park, pick up in the middle of an episode, pick up the context from what's happening, know that I've seen this episode before, and just kind of enjoy the rest of it, and then start up on the next one, when I could pull up HBO Max and start whatever the fuck episode I want to start from the beginning and watch the whole thing and then watch it go in chronological order.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, what is the point of watching television shows when the television tells you to, when you could just be like, oh, hey, I'm in the mood to watch this show and it's on this streaming service that I have. I'm just going to pull it up on that service. Or even a movie. Like if I want to watch, say for example, I pull up, say, TNT, because that's the channel that AEW is on. Let's say TNT, after AEW Dynamite ends, plays Wonder Woman. And I'm like, oh yeah, Wonder Woman's awesome. What's going to end up happening for me is the first 11 minutes of Wonder Woman are going to play. And then I'm going to get a commercial. And I'm going to be like, okay, fuck this. I'm going to close out of YouTube TV. I'm going to pull up HBO Max. And I'm going to put Wonder Woman on demand on HBO Max and watch it without commercials in 4K. Because why wouldn't I?
Exactly.
So like YouTube TV has some definite perks. The biggest perk being anything live. Anything that you have to watch live that isn't an on-demand kind of thing, that isn't like, here's this thing from a few months ago or a few years ago or even a few decades ago that you can watch live because it's airing on this channel on television. I can just watch that shit on a streaming service. Literally any sitcom. All in the Family, The Jeffersons, fucking, I already mentioned, like, Family Matters, Boy Meets World, fucking, any of them, Laverne and Shirley, I already met, any of them, any sitcom is either going to be on Amazon Prime Video or Hulu. With very few exceptions. Very, very few exceptions. So
Exactly.
And I have all that shit. I have Prime, I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus, I have HBO Max. It's like I've got the fucking infinity gauntlet of streaming services, and I've got all 6 slots filled out with streaming services. And then like YouTube TV, it comes along and it's like, oh, this is really great for what it does, but why would I use it for these other things when I have the fucking infinity gauntlet over here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really, really nice to have, but it's also like, there are times that I feel like it's like a waste of money, but then it's like, well, no, it's not a waste of money because I just am not paying for the thing that I'm not using it for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does, because again, it's like, why use this thing when I can't ceaselessly enjoy the movie? Because that's what I hate about it, right, with the service. Like, I could be watching a movie and being immersed in the movie, but you know what's going to take me out of my immersion is a fucking ad.
Yeah.
So why even put up with that when I can enjoy the cinematic experience? Oh, it's meant to be enjoyed. Like, dude, when you and I watched Battinson, that Batman movie,
yeah, the Batman.
I couldn't imagine watching that with ads.
Well,
because
it's a 3-hour-long movie, and like
it's
with ads,
movie,
shit, you add ads to that, it's 4.5, 5 hours.
Exactly, and the movie was so good. I've already said that I didn't feel the 3-hour runtime, but I would have with ads.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have been as immersed. So yeah, I know, I totally get it, man. Like, that's why. But I feel like they know it, and that's why today's model is you got to subscribe to everything because you don't want to miss anything. Low key, actually, while we're speaking about this, I feel like Apple TV has been putting out a lot of bangers too. I'm low key thinking, like, if I had some disposable income, which I told you all the things that I'm budgeting for, both medical and professional. So it's probably not going to be for the foreseeable future. But if there was a time where I didn't have all that going on and I had disposable income, I'd probably get Apple TV for a month and see what all the hype's about, because they seem to be coming out with some good stuff. But there are so many services today.
Yeah.
So many. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Any
Anyway, there's
yeah,
more though. There's
music.
more. I mean, I
Yeah.
talked about how crazy my November has been, and how the only negative thing was my tire blowing out and all the bullshit that I had to deal with as far as that goes. The YouTube TV is one thing. I got a fucking Switch, which I did not expect to happen this soon. I was hoping to get one for Christmas, but everything happened so fast that like it's literally I already almost beat the fucking game on Pokemon Scarlet. Like I'm very close to beating that game already. That's how long I've had the Switch for. I've had it since I think Friday or Saturday. I want to say Saturday was when I got the Switch. It's a Switch OLED too. It's a really fucking nice console. It's honestly incredible.
Nice.
And I don't want to act like I got a Switch OLED by accident. I specifically wanted the Switch OLED because I've seen the original Switch, I've seen the Switch Lite, I've seen the Switch OLED. I know the OLED is the one I want because that's like the end all be all, right? Like the original Switch is nice. The Switch Lite would be nice if I had no interest in ever playing it on the TV, but I definitely want to play it on the TV. And then the Switch OLED is like the original Switch, but with quality of life improvements, with smaller bezels, with a bigger, nicer screen, just all kinds of improvements that like you only have to pay like $50 more for this. Why would you not do that? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I got the Switch OLED, and that was a Christmas present from my mom. She got me the Switch OLED, and I bought myself the games. I bought myself 6 games for the Switch OLED, and I got Pokemon Scarlet, obviously, I already mentioned that, Legends Arceus, Breath of the Wild. I did get Mario Party Superstars, not even necessarily for me, but because I know that a lot of people in our Discord have that, and I'd love to be able to play that with them. Smash Ultimate, and Digimon Survive. And Digimon Survive, I didn't even buy because I wanted it right now. I just wanted to have it in my library, and it was only $17. Like, this is a $60 game that was on a 70% plus percent off sale. I just couldn't pass that up. So I got Digimon Survive just to have, so that it's just, and I got a carrying case for all my games. So I have this little carrying case that has 24 slots in it for games. That's like this awesome little like carbon fiber like wallet looking thing that I can just take with me whenever I want. And I'm set. It's fucking awesome, dude. I love my setup. It's so cool. And now today, I got a fucking 2DS, a new Nintendo 2DS XL in the mail, which I'm planning on spending like $84 on to buy classic Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on the eShop. So like,
I
holy
love it.
shit.
I fucking love it, man. That's good shit.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man. So yeah, my month's been crazy, and I literally Pokemon Scarlet, dude. I'll tell you what, Pokemon Scarlet. I played through that. I got so the first night that I played it, I beat the first 2 gym leaders and the first 2 like team star. I did 2, 2, and 2. 2 gym leaders, 2 team star bases, and 2 titans. But yesterday, I don't know if it was. I think it was either. Did we have a recording yesterday? No. So yeah, it was yesterday.
No.
Dude, I fucking plowed through the rest of that game yesterday. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Or no, you know what? It was separated. It was Sunday, actually. It was Sunday. It was Sunday that I plowed through most of the game. Sunday, I went from the 2, 2, and 2 to, I think I had 6 or 7. I think I had 7 badges by the end of the day Sunday. I had taken down 3 team star bases with only 2 left. And then I had taken down 3 of the 5 titans. And then, yeah, yesterday I got my last badge, my last 2 titans, and my last 2 team star bases. And so now I've got basically everything done except for the actual end game. Like I have the big boss on Team Star to beat. I have the Elite Four and the Champion to beat, and that might even be it. I don't know for sure. But yeah, like that's my whole experience has just been awesome. I've loved it. I will say I had a bit of an issue yesterday where I let it get really low on battery and then it wouldn't charge right until I docked it. I had to actually dock it to get it to charge, which was kind of annoying, but hopefully I've just learned that lesson and I'm going to try and remember not to let it drop below like 45% from now on if I can help it. So, yeah, but I have that game now, and I literally, dude, I'm at the point now that I'm ready to like restart the game and try again, like try and do it more efficiently all over again because I've been like struggling with these last couple of battles, like the big like Titan Pokemon at the end, like the fucking Dodonzo, the big water fish whale thing, and then the little dragon thing that was in its mouth the whole time that turned out to be the real Titan. I did a decent with those, but I also kind of died a couple times. Like I lost a couple Pokemon to those, and then the final Team Star battle was miserable. And now going into the last few battles, I'm actually under leveled. Like I'm in like the mid 50s, and the last couple battles are like low 60s, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do here? So and like really my thought is I should just train up a whole new team, or at least keep like one or two of my base, like my core Pokemon, and just train up a new team around them. But like I don't really know how to handle it, man. And dude, here's the crazy thing too. I've fought maybe a grand total of like 10 trainers outside of gyms and star bases. Like I fight so few trainers, and I get all my experience from just catch. Dude, you gotta realize I've caught over 200 unique species of Pokemon in this game. That's more than the original game had in it.
Yeah, wow, that's insane, dude.
It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Scarlet's been a lot of fun. Once I feel Alex Foster in chat said not to be dramatic, but I would die for Arvin. So, John, since you're probably never going to play these games, Arvin is a character who spends the entire game trying to restore the health of his dog, Pokemon.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that's heavy.
yeah, at the very beginning of the game,
Jesus
Arvin's
Christ.
dog Pokemon. It's the name of the Pokemon is Mabostiff. Mabostiff is what its name is, and at the very beginning of the game, you don't even know that that's what he's doing. You just know that he's collecting these special herbs, and eventually he lets the dog out and he feeds it, and it kind of it opens its eyes for the first time, and he's like, oh, it opens its eyes for the first time. That's so cool. And then the next time you do it, it like barks, and he's like, oh my god, I haven't heard that bellowing bark in so long. It's so beautiful. And yeah, eventually, yeah, of course, by the time you get to the end, you get it back on its feet and back to moving around, and it's this sweet, beautiful, adorable moment. It's really, really nice. I love the story in these games, honestly. The story of these games makes me want either like a sequel or, dude, here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, but the whole thing with Scarlet and Violet is Scarlet has a lot of Pokemon in it that are like prehistoric versions of their current day counterparts, and then Violet has like the futuristic versions of the current day counterparts, right? So I would love it if they actually came out with versions of these games where they did like,
Right.
a version of like an Ultra Scarlet where it was like actually took place in the past, and then Ultraviolet where it actually took place in the future, rather than just having some Pokemon from those time periods show up. I think that would be amazing. I would love that.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
You get like a proper sequel and a prequel released in the same like
All right.
gen. I think it would be so cool. I'm noticing a really, really bad delay now. Where I'll stop talking and there will be like 5 seconds before you respond.
Oh yeah. I don't know if we should switch to Discord then.
Oh,
What
you
we
know what?
should
It
do
seems like
about
it's getting
that.
a little bit better. Maybe we should just wait it out,
I didn't think
honestly.
that my internet tanked.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah, the delay's bad. Is it getting better? What do we?
I don't know. Let's just crank out these last few questions, and that should handle it. Um, yeah. But yeah. So I got I should specify. I got the new Nintendo 2DS XL. Not the new Nintendo 2DS XL. I got that specifically because the 3DS eShop, the eShop that allows you to buy like the retro games and play them on that console, is actually closing in March. I think it's like March 7th. And I wanted to make sure that I would be able to buy Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, plus the Pokemon TCG game, plus the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX and Oracle of Ages and Seasons, and so that I could play those on like an actual console rather than having to emulate them on my computer before that eShop closes down. And the grand total for all 10 of those games is only going to be like $84, unless they charge tax, which then it would be more, but you get the idea.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's why I got this console specifically. So now not only can I play all those games on this console once I buy them, but it also is able to play DS games, like original DS games like Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black, White, Black 2, White 2. But it also is able to play 3DS games. So that's Pokemon X, Y. I'm pretty sure X and Y are 3DS. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon. Like, the library that I just opened up for myself is insane. And obviously, I'm not going to play all that shit immediately, because that would drive me insane. But the fact that I have the ability to do it is super awesome and makes me very happy.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. I plan on it eventually. Anyway, our next, I think that covers everything actually, as far as my crazy month that I've had goes. Wakanda Forever was awesome. We talked about Big Mouth. We talked about Atlanta. We talked about Wednesday. I mean, we can talk about the two trailers that just dropped: Transformers: Rise of the Beasts and Marvel. Oh, Guardians! We got to talk about the Guardians holiday special and how great that was.
That was an amazing holiday special. One of the few holiday specials with a Christmas soundtrack I didn't hate. So that was amazing.
It was so fun. I loved it. I loved the band at the very beginning that sang the little song about what's Christmas. It was like, I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here. That was so good. I loved that. Just the news that the Guardians straight up bought Nowhere from the Collector is huge. Cosmo the Space Dog is adorable. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a really, really fun entire special, I guess it is. And the news about Mantis being Quill's sister, half sister, I guess, was really cool. Yeah, it was really entertaining. And now today, the Guardians 3 trailer dropping. It looks so good.
Dude, that movie looks amazing. I already said to you before we went live, from a trailer standpoint, that trailer was better than the Quantum Mania trailer and got me more hyped for their movie. I know Quantum Mania will be excellent, but I don't think the trailer did it full justice, and maybe in the end that's a good thing. But the Guardians trailer knocked it out of the park. I am really psyched to see that movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
All right.
There are going to be a lot of emotional
that's
moments. We're
today,
Rocket's
so that...
backstory finally.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want to try some Discord, bro? You want to try switching?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was getting really bad. Super Blue, no, his internet hasn't been fixed yet. It was supposed to be fixed by the end of November, but obviously that just did not come to fruition yet. Hopefully it's still in store, but we don't have a timeline anymore, unfortunately. Oh my goodness, that was rough. Did you hear those delays? That was crazy. Now I just wait for him to call me. I'm wondering if maybe he's trying to call me, but it's giving him trouble, like, oh, cannot connect kind of thing. There we go. Hello, my friend.
Here, everyone.
Yes.
Has this fixed the delay any?
I sure as hell hope it did.
Yeah, because that was getting really bad and obnoxious. But, yeah, I guess we can move on to our next question.
Our second question from Rotten Butter is, what do you consider to be your most prized possession?
Oh, man. That's a difficult one, because on one hand...
Well, if it's difficult for you, then I'll go, because it's easy as fuck for me. It's my laptop.
Nice. I guess for me, in a more sentimental way, um, see, it's still difficult though from a sentimental perspective because on one hand, Angel got me Chris Benoit's autograph, which I have hanging in my room, but given my passion in life and what I would like to devote life to, I think my most prized possession is actually the Oxford Guide to Philosophy that Christy and Chris got me. It was one of the first philosophy books I ever actually owned because up until then I was just borrowing stuff at the library. And that's like the cornerstone. Every time I'm like thinking about something new or doing something new, I'm always curious if it has an entry about it in there. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it was their investment in me. It was one of the first investments I had made in me by people in my family that knew I wanted to do this. And yeah, like I've built an expansive library since then, but I look at that as the book that really kind of got me started. And so yeah, that book is very dear to me. So I'd say just from that level, knowing how philosophy focused I am, that's my most prized possession. So next rotten butter question.
Yeah, my laptop is my baby. I had to go without it for like a couple of weeks. It might have even been close to a month that I had to be without it, and that was horrible. I would really like to never have to go through that again. I love my laptop, and it is probably also my most valuable possession on top of being my most prized possession. Even though I have like all this great stuff that I just got. I've got the Switch OLED. I've got, the 3D or the 2DS X, new Nintendo 2DS XL, and all these games and all this great stuff. And I'm very, very beyond stoked to have all of that. My laptop is still number one. It's my baby. It's literally worth more than probably all of that other stuff, including my bed. Like all of my other possessions combined probably don't add up to how much my laptop is worth, or at least how much it cost me to buy. So yeah, the laptop is number one by a pretty wide margin as far as actual physical possessions go. Next, final question from Rotten Butter, though. It's another one of these. He said, "How many communion wafers do you need to eat before it counts as one entire Jesus?"
He always asks the most interesting questions. I'm gonna say five. I'm gonna say five for that one.
I'm gonna say 100.
Damn.
Well,
That's a
each
lot of
each
wafers.
each communion wafer counts as a percent of Jesus.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Next set of questions.
Next set of questions are from Abel. Oh God! And the first one is
Excellent.
thoughts on Elon's Twitter.
Uh, I think we gave a really we kind of touched on it in one of the earlier questions. Still no fucking edit button, so that's great. Uh, but yeah, it's been every bit the dumpster fire I think people would expect it to be. Javaris even said earlier in the chat, ever since Elon's taken over on Twitter, the visibility of the N word has gone up 500%. We can see what kind of accounts he's favoring. We can see what side of Twitter he's favoring. But as I already mentioned, people have been able to fuck with him and his $8 verification system that, I mean, let's be honest, he just instituted to try and get his money back as quickly as possible. So, yeah, I think it's been a clown show, personally, but it's what we expected.
Pretty much. Second question from Abel: thoughts on Joe Biden being anti-rail union?
Not surprising. Again, I kind of touched on this earlier, but just to reiterate, the state is never class neutral. Every time that Biden said he was a pro-labor president, it was absolutely a joke. I think the closest thing we had to a pro-labor president was probably a FDR, and somebody like that. And even then, the most pro-union you can be is just taking over the means of production, dismantling capitalism, and instituting communism, particularly of the automated luxury space gay variety. So, yeah, that not surprising that he would go on the side of capitalist interest, of CEO interest, of corporate and statist interest against the working class. I hope they're still illegally striking. I do not blame them if they are not, because the reproach from the state is always going to be swift and severe. I will also say, to backtrack to that earlier question from Super Blue about political hope, in a manner of speaking. UK professors are also striking. There's the largest university strike, I think, in the UK's history, or at the very least their recent history, because they're overworked and underpaid. And so they are also striking. We're seeing a tipping point here in class consciousness. I think what matters for the left and the questions that we should be asking ourselves is, are we taking fullest possible advantage of that reorientation in consciousness, so that we look more towards liberation and not reaction? But yeah, to focus on your question, Abel, not a surprise at all.
All right. Third question from Abel. Thoughts on Ye's Month of Madness?
You know what? I'm gonna let you have this one because I feel like I talked about Kanye in a past Q&A, and it's not that I don't want to answer this question for Abel, but I'd rather you just start on this one.
Oh, I don't really know how to answer this, though, honestly. I feel like the man is just outside of his fucking mind right now, honestly. I really don't know what else there is to say. I feel really upset by it. I wish that. I don't know. It feels like he's kind of turned his back on a lot of people, and it's really unfortunate. And like I said, I just don't know how to respond to it, honestly.
I mean, apparently today, now I haven't watched the video, I'm morbidly curious. He was on Alex Jones's show, and Jones actually tried to do damage control for him, like PR control.
He did say
and he doubled down,
Nazis.
and he doubled down hard.
Yeah.
I think he said something. Yeah. The dude needs help. And I'm not even saying that, like, pejoratively, jokingly. Like, this dude, I think he's in deep on something that could be very harmful to him and those around him. He needs help. And I hope he gets it, but he won't, because I think being as rich as he is, although I certainly can't imagine that he's richer because every sponsor seems to be dropping him and he seems to be losing money, not gaining it. That's a very easy means to insulate yourself. And I think when you're insulating yourself with those kinds of thoughts and stuff, it's not going to end well for this dude. Even if not ending well means that he's just a perpetual meme, because we know he's got his quote-unquote presidential run, which I'd be shocked if it gets anywhere off the ground. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I just hope he gets the help that he needs, but I very much doubt that he will. And it's a scary time, honestly, because he's running for president, and you know that he's going to have people that support him. And I think, look, if I'm being honest, and I've tried to be, like, really good with the political talk this Q&A, not losing myself and trying not to be hyperbolic, I think we're already seeing it, though, with Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes. Kanye, I think, is going to be a tool for the far right to rehabilitate their image and to get a guy with his social capital to make their message, their ideology more palatable. And that's what I think is so heartbreaking, is Kanye is being used by these people. He's not being valued by these people. Milo hasn't been relevant in what feels like 10 fucking years. And all of a sudden I'm hearing that he's on Kanye's campaign because he's a leech and he's sucking on the most relevant thing going on. Yeah. Nick Fuentes, I was talking about him to Ashton the other day. He's on like this fringe website or whatever, probably barely getting any clicks. But he openly said that the only way we're going to win is with a dictatorship, a violent overthrow of the government, to get people to live as we do, because that, and I appreciate him going full mask off, because that's what it's about. They don't like multiculturalism. They don't like just multiple ways of life. They don't like a country where multiple modes of life can try and coexist so long as nobody's getting hurt, exploited, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Was supposed to be when it was created in the first place.
Yeah, and more fundamentally, they don't like different. They don't like anything that's contrary to their ideology, their image of life, their image of who should have a life. I mean, that's what a fascist is. A fascist is going to stamp out all difference, all diversity, anything. They want a homogenized body politic, from the state down to the individual, all homogenized. And so, yeah, Nick Fuentes is very honest about that. I mean, you've got the establishment GOP trying to distance themselves from all of it. I would say too little, too fucking late, because we're all seeing now, as I think a lot of us have seen forever, to be fair, but some I think are coming around, that they're all different shades of shit. Yeah. And, it's sad. You got Tucker Carlson, who's the most watched guy in cable news, but when you see the pieces that he covers, he's a fearmonger. Quintessentially, Tucker Carlson is a fearmonger. That's what he is. Of course, it's more complicated than that in terms of like how he does it and why he succeeds and why he gets away with it, blah, blah, blah. But again, I'm just speaking in talking points because this is a Q&A. And yeah, Kanye is absolutely being used. He is a tool of the far right to make the ideology more palatable, to put a famous face on it, and, to radicalize other parts of the community, which I will say, and again, if I'm just putting all my cards on the table, I feel bad for any other black conservatives or black rightists that'll fall for this because you're disposable to them too. And that's why I never got that a marginalized person would be with the reactionary forces that want to kill them, or at the very least forcibly deport them, which isn't a fucking picnic either. It's I don't know. It's just really sad. It's just really sad. So I guess that's my comments on it. Next question from Abel.
Next question from Abel is when Sasha Banks?
I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people are missing her, which shows how fucking over she is. I even have to wonder if there is an answer to that question. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Ashton? Do you think she's gonna come back at all next year? Do you think she'll come back at Rumble to start next year?
My personal theory is that this whole feud between Jade Cargill and Lil Bow Wow is the vehicle that AEW is going to use to debut her.
Wow. So you think AEW actually fucking got her?
I do. I think AEW got
or
her.
Is going
and
to
I'm
get
guessing that there's personally, I don't think that she would have signed on the dotted line with AEW on an exclusive deal where she's only allowed to work there. I'm guessing that they're going to let her work wherever the fuck she wants as long as it's a place that doesn't have TV in the US. Kind of like the way Lucha Underground used to work, where you could work for PWG, you could work for Lucha, for AAA, you could work anywhere you wanted as long as it wasn't somewhere that had TV in the US, which is what led to Ricochet not being able to work for New Japan because New Japan ended up having TV in the US. So I think that they're going to do the same thing with Sasha. I think they're going to let her work. If she wants to go work Stardom, that's fine. They're probably going to encourage her to work TJPW. Wouldn't surprise me. But I think that they're going to let her work Japan if she wants. They're probably going to let her work wherever the fuck she wants. She'll probably go work Pro Wrestling Eve. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Or if she wants, she can just work her AEW dates. They're probably going to put the TBS title on her immediately. They're probably going to have her be the one to beat Jade's streak. Wouldn't surprise me the least bit. And I think they're going to use Lil Bow Wow's connection to Snoop Dogg, who obviously is her cousin, to do it. I think that's the story that we're going for here.
All right, we shall see. All right, Next question.
Fifth and final question from Abel. Goals for 2023?
I'm sorry, you cut out on that first part. What, 2023?
Goals for 2023?
Well, right now, as of today, to get through dental stuff, because I had a very good dental visit today, looking to get my wisdom teeth removed and one extra canine tooth that I have in the back of my bottom row of teeth, like behind them. I am also thinking that they're going to want to talk braces with me after that. I have no idea how I'm going to afford those because we live in a horrible, shitty system. So that does admittedly kind of scare me. But my goal is pretty much to get through dental stuff as unscathed as possible. I have a feeling it's going to hurt a lot before it gets better. And no, I'm not talking about the procedures. I'm still very much talking about the costs. As far as goals that actually fill my heart with joy, there is a philosophy conference September of next year in California. I could meet a longtime friend of mine, and we're hoping to do a panel together. A panel at this conference would be 3 people giving 10-minute paper presentations, but then after that, there would be like a 30-minute open discussion. It'd be the first time I've ever done a panel in my career, the second time I've ever done like a physical conference of this nature, and I think it would be really cool, and I'd get to meet this friend of mine, and I would really feel very, very much at home there. So, but given that it's in California, that too obviously is going to be a very big expense, and so I'm hoping to be able to budget. I'd like to be able to do both the thing that I need and the thing that I want. If I have to make a choice, though, I may even lean to the thing that I want because you don't really get opportunities like that often. So I have a lot of thinking to do, a lot of decision making. But yeah, that's my biggest goal by far for 2023 is to make it to this conference. That and helping my friend finish her PhD because that's going really well. I'm still doing readings for that. I have to imagine though we're close to the finish line. I think 2023 will be the final year. And so to see her cross that finish line and get her doctorate and know that I was as much a part of it as I was would mean the world to me. So yeah, that's very much the biggest goal that I had, the 2 biggest goals that I have for 2023. And if I have others, I'm sure they'll come up along the way. So.
All right. Awesome. As far as my goals, honestly, I don't really have any like professional goals in any way. Like I'm not trying to, I don't have any like big goals for the channel or anything like that, or even like for my spreadsheets, I don't really have any big goals for that either. As far as personal goals, I'd love to just improve my health. I have a personal goal of losing 100 pounds in the year of 2023. And those of you that don't actually know me, that's still only a fraction of the way I need to go. I basically have reached a point that I need to cut my weight in half. And losing 100 pounds does not do that yet. So, yeah, that's a big thing that I'd like to do, and that really, I mean, it's not super likely that I'll be able to actually pull that off, but I have lost like probably 7 or 8 pounds over the course of the last like 4 weeks or so, 4 or 5 weeks, 4.5 weeks, something like that. So I'm not quite on the right pace to be able to do it, but that's with me barely trying. So once I actually do start trying, which will be coming very soon, and actually before 2023 is when I'm going to be, because I'm going to be going to what's called metabolic rehab. So hopefully that will also be a big help as well. But yeah, hopefully that'll be a potential. Even if I don't hit 100, I'd be happy to, one of those things where it's like, shoot for the stars. That way, even if you fail, you're still, or what was it? It's shoot for the moon. That way, even if you fail, you still land amongst the stars. That's kind of thing. Like I'm aiming really, really high so that even if I fail, I've still accomplished something,
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of my biggest thing that I want to do in 2023. I guess on a less serious level, I would love to be able to beat, to my own, personal satisfaction, all of the games that I now own on the Switch and all of the games that I'm going to be owning on the virtual console on my 2DS XL, my new 2DS XL. That's going to be, kind of a personal goal, but that's, again, not something to really be taken super seriously. It's kind of a silly thing. But yeah, that's another thing that I'd like to do. Our last question before we get into Alex Foster's questions, we actually got another one in kind of after we went live, but just, figure I'd slip it in here. Javaris asked a question, and he would like to know, John, has AEW finally ruined MJF for you?
Ruined is a bit strong. I'm kind of burnt out, though. I think really bungled the world title storyline. I'm still probably going to watch the YouTube clips, but as far as like watching title defenses and stuff, again, why I love This Week in the World of Wrestling in review is that, it gives us more autonomy over what we watch and what we don't. And I'm sure there'll come a time on an episode where I talk about, hey, I actually watched AEW this week, or I made sure to actually watch this one segment, even if it's the YouTube stuff. But I can't really see that happening for a while. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe by next Saturday even, because I know this Saturday we've got our show at 8. So, the Saturday after that, I might be like, oh, I watched it, and they are going to do MJF Danielson, and they actually did a great job. I don't know. I'm feeling really jaded after Full Gear, and I still think Max is very talented. I gotta say, though, when you watch Stardom as regularly as we do, as I know you do, Javaris, you see what true genius actually is at a young age. I mean, again, Utami is younger than MJF, and I think she's 10 times the wrestler he is. And that's just me being completely 1,000% honest with you. But will he be a good champion for them? Probably. I will say I did like that he said that the belt wasn't going to be defended as regularly. I really wasn't vibing with the random world title defenses on Dynamite, like against like a Dante Martin or whatever.
Or like
MJF
the random
the
one
guy
on
that
the
really
one
makes the world title feel.
Rampage, I think it was, against fucking Mance Warner. Like, what the actual fuck was that?
Yeah, exactly. So, he might make the world title feel more like an actual attraction. But then again, I feel like that's kind of the copy-paste kind of template because we had Lesnar do it, now we have Roman Reigns doing it in WWE, and now we have MJF's going to do it. I have to wonder if Impact's been doing it or if they've ever done it or whatever, because Impact might be the only one that's like, no, still every pay-per-view, it's a world title, be here, defend it, whatever. So that could both help and hurt AEW. We'll have to see how it goes. But, I mean, my God, there's no shortage of challengers that he can have would be compelling. Again, you've got Danielson. He mentioned Eddie Kingston, which got a huge pop from the crowd. And he said, chant for him all you want, world champion. I've seen people say that Eddie Kingston should be the one to beat MJF. And honestly, if I wasn't so committed to Wardlow being the one to do it, which maybe I shouldn't be because it seems like he's cooled down, Eddie Kingston's completely antithetical to MJF. It's the perfect, like, blue-collar, white-collar kind of story. I'm all in. If you'd make Eddie Kingston the one to beat MJF, I would say that that's a smart move so long as the build is good and the story's good.
I really hated that MJF
there. It's
kept
just full
calling
gear.
people fake tough guys. That, like...
Yeah.
On a meta level, even if you are supposed to be the biggest shitheel in the world, in the pro wrestling business, you should never call anything anyone in your fucking business does fake. Especially not in public, and especially not on television.
I would agree there. I don't really think that was the best move either. And again, and that's what I mean, where it's like there are things that he does that I'm like, ugh, because, we've seen young people, and again, the one example I went to was Utami. Look at how Utami talked about her loss to Shuri.
Yeah.
And said, I can't take my eyes off the red belt. The red belt isn't interesting unless I hold it. Now notice that I don't think even necessarily when you have it in context of her being the leader of Queen's Quest, that that's burying the roster or anything.
Nope.
That's just her having a Queen's Quest attitude that we're the best fucking wrestlers here. And I mean, kind of right, honestly.
Yeah.
But, and it's like, I should be the world champion. Totally different from calling somebody a fake tough guy. Because she didn't take a pot shot at Shuri specifically. She's just saying, I'm the best. Nobody can make that red belt as interesting as I can, which I think is a qualitatively different statement. That's how you put over the title, yourself, and honestly, kind of challenging the company to prove you wrong, or the people that are holding the title, like Shuri, prove you wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, Utami is 10 times the wrestler MJF is. I stand by that. I'll fight people on that. And people I know, if I were to say that on Twitter, they would have replies like, what are you talking about? Is this guy out of his mind? No, I'm perfectly within my mind. And more importantly, I'm right. So that's Foster's questions.
Because you're right, and they know it.
Exactly. Exactly. Goddamn.
All right. Let's get to our Alex Foster questions, our lovely boy over here. Let's see here. Mr. Alex Foster's first question was, this is actually just for you, John. WWE has asked you to create the team/feud between Angle and Benoit. What wrestlers do you have take part?
Ooh. Okay. Hey. WWE has asked me this. Mm-hmm. Fuck. Because there are strong roster members. It's just I've been so checked out.
Yep. Challenge mode.
Damn it. I know, right? I know. Fuck. Who are two guys that could have amazing matches that would be a fight forever pair? If they weren't already so well into their careers and had already done so much, because, I mean, when Benoit was feuding with Angle, they had both done a bit. Like, Angle had already even been a world champion. Benoit hadn't. He hadn't won the big one at that point. I would say Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, because I love the idea of that dynamic. I love those two being forced to team up and win tag titles, even if it was against, like, the Usos. That would be even kind of sweeter. But I don't like that, because they've already done so much. So, like, who benefits from that feud? I'm trying to think about two guys that you can make, even if one of them is more accomplished than the other one, like Angle and Benoit. This is fucking hard.
That's what he said.
Yeah, oh, God. You know what? Just because I don't even know if I watched their match, but I kind of like their interaction. Let's just say for the hell of it, Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes. But, like, I'd have Braun Breaker be the, like, heel that's like this, that comes from this collegiate background, this athletic background, and Cameron Grimes being, like, this technical, they call him the technical savage, the caveman kind of thing. And he's, like, looking to prove Braun wrong, because maybe at that point Braun has already been a world champion, but he's kind of in a cool down period. But you can see that Grimes is on the come up. Like, people are really getting behind him. I'd say Grimes and Braun would actually be a cool pairing for that. I'm going to go with that. Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes. That way you elevate both guys. You establish Braun as the more main event guy between the two, and Grimes as the scrapper. So, yeah, that'll be my answer to that.
Yeah, that's fun. I think the only real difference to me, I love Cameron Grimes, but I don't know. I feel like Chad Gable fits better in that role with Braun.
You know what? Yeah, Chad Gable would also be a great pick. I just know that he's like kind of given up hope on Chad Gable, like having anything worthwhile being done with him. And so I'm like, Cameron Grimes, he's still kind of in NXT, so he's kind of in that limbo. Like,
Maybe
it's anybody's guess. It's a coin flip how he's going to land. But yeah, Gable would be great. Say that again.
I said maybe the lack of hope is the real villain here.
Maybe it is. Next question from Foster.
The next one I saw was actually just from me, but give me a little bit of time here. I'm trying to take care of something physically in the real world. Okay, there we go. All right. Now let me pull up Foster's his next question, not his last question. All right. He wants to know who my favorite Power Rangers villain is so far. I mean, controversial answer here. I don't understand why it's controversial or how it's controversial, but clearly Divatox. Divatox was fucking excellent. She literally carried Power Rangers Turbo by far for me. Like, that show was horrible. The movie was horrible. Divatox completely carried it for me. She was the only reason that it was watchable until the new Rangers joined up. TJ, Ashley, and Cassie. TJ's fucking amazing. I love him. He, I think, is actually my number one favorite Ranger up to the point that I've gotten to so far, which speaks volumes because a lot of the other people that I've seen are like classic Rangers that I've known about since I was like 4 or 5 years old. So yeah, TJ is the shit. I love TJ, but my favorite villain is far and away Divatox. She's Hillary Shepard just chewing scenery every single episode. Literally, I was watching episodes of Power Rangers Turbo with like the biggest scowl on my face, waiting for the scenes that Divatox would show up, and then I would light up like, oh my god, she's so great. I love her. So yeah, Divatox is the best Power Rangers villain so far. And yeah, I would say that second place would go to Astronema, the current villain. Zed, I think, is probably the worst of them, but that's not his fault. It's because they tried to take him seriously early, and then apparently the fucking Wasp Moms of America complained that he was too demonic, so they chilled him out quite a bit, and they just made him silly and impossible to take seriously. Rita, good lord, the voice acting, just obnoxious and, like, iconic, yes, but still grating for sure. And the Machine Empire was cool, but relatively forgettable. So yeah, that's my answer. Number 1, Divatox. Number 2, Astronema. And I haven't gotten through In Space yet. Third question from Foster is actually for both of us, John. Childhood TV shows with the best theme songs.
Oh God. If we include theme songs as like things without lyrics, I mean the Hey Arnold theme kind of stands out to me. Angry Beavers I thought was a pretty good one. Dexter's Lab had a good score. Actually, no, one of the best childhood theme songs, I gotta mention Samurai Jack. So, nice. Yeah, Samurai Jack was a big one for me. That one, I will say, was like, because how was the question phrased? It was childhood TV shows with the best themes. Like, yeah, I would count that as one. Samurai Jack for sure. That's going to be my big answer for that question. What about you, Ashton? What about some shows for you that make you think of, like, best theme songs?
I mean, the two big ones that come to my mind are Digimon Frontier, which was the 4th season where the kids turned into the Digimon in the first place when they had, like, the different, like, elemental warriors, like the Fire Warrior and the Wind Warrior and stuff like that. That song was just incredible. And then along those same lines, since we're sticking with kind of anime here, Shaman King's theme song was amazing. And the other anime one I gotta mention, Rock the Dragon, man. Come on, right? Am I right?
Yeah. There you go.
as far as non-anime though, low-key classic that people might have forgotten about by now. Cat Dog had an amazing theme song.
That is true. That was low key a bop. I'll
Really
co-sign
was.
onto that
One
one.
fun day with a wolf and a purr, a baby was born and it caused a little stir. Like that song went so hard, it had no right.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I remember liking the Ed, Ed and Eddie theme song too, but I don't remember anything other than the Ed,
That was
Ed,
also
Eddie.
a really good one. Again, if we're just talking like pure compositions, yeah, yeah, definitely. Teen Titans, another great one. Foster mentioning that in chat.
Teen
Titans,
Titans!
Boondock. Well,
Yeah.
Boondocks wasn't a childhood show, I wouldn't say. I mean, it depends on your kind of childhood. Maybe Boondocks is a childhood show to somebody. I do agree with Danny Phantom. That's another great one.
Danny Phantom
That one
was a
was
good
genuinely
one, yeah.
catchy.
I never
But yeah,
even
Danny Phantom
watched
was-
Danny Phantom, but I still know
Yeah.
that theme song was a bop.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, did you ever notice how much the Teen Titans theme song sounds like Secret Agent Man? Secret Agent
Yeah.
Man. It's got the exact same rhythm. It's wild.
Yeah. It is wild, man. And yeah, I did notice that. That's crazy.
Boondocks Abel, yes! Oh, I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration. I love that fucking intro song. That's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, Boondocks went hard.
Yu-Gi-Oh did go hard for sure. Yeah. That original Yu-Gi-Oh theme, bro. Oh my god. Like the first time that you hear that and you hear that like that note that that kind of leads into like da 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 da. It's so epic. It's like you get like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's so good. And then of course you get the it's
Yeah.
time to da 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 do.
Yes.
Oh man. Since we're talking about really old, like 90s, I mean, X-Men the animated series, come on.
Oh, that was always great. And the Spider-Man one. I mean, if we're talking about like all those 90s animated shows, the Spider-Man fucking theme, that goes fucking hard with the guitar and everything. I
I've
fucking
heard-
love
I've
that
heard
theme.
that one
But
too,
yeah, you're
yeah.
absolutely right about X-Men too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other good ones there were. Abel once, he said he needs Kids Bop, but with me singing and doing all the sounds instead of kids. He wants Ashton Bop.
Oh, oh my god.
Oh, Lord. What else did we watch as kids that had really good intro music? No. Well, yeah, that did go kind of hard. The Digimon theme song was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard it. I could co-sign to that.
It's a little more repetitive than I usually like my intro songs to be, but it sure as hell gets the point across.
Yes.
Yeah, Pokemon easily, absolutely. That dude, low key, you don't really think about it because of how like corned up the lyrics are, but the Pokemon theme song hits really hard, like way harder than it has any right to.
Yeah, you're right about that for sure.
So, any other thoughts, John, on kids' intros?
No, I'm good, man, because I'm kind of tabbed out. I felt like I kind of peaked again when I offered Samurai Jack as like an answer, so I was ready to move on to Foster's penultimate question.
I thought of another one, Proud Family.
Proud Family was a great one. Can
And
confirm.
along those same
Definitely.
lines, Kim Possible. Excellent intro.
Also a great one. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right. And I'm going to stick with it. Phil of the Future, another great intro. Because it's Phil.
I was just thinking of that one.
The future. Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, just thinking of that one. Yeah, definitely.
And you know what? We're going to go adjacent. We're going to go from, I think, like 04, 05 Disney to maybe a little later, Sweet Life. I literally had that song stuck in my head like a couple days ago. Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. This is the sweet life. Like that whole thing.
Yeah,
that
was
shit's good too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid one. That one was okay.
Oh shit! God, these keep coming to me. Wizards of Waverly Place had a great theme song and a great intro.
That was genuinely good. Yeah, that one. I'll give more of a hearty cosign to.
Okay, let's move on to our fourth Alex Foster question. If it were safe, legal, and you were able to do so, what non-traditional pets would you like to have?
Wolf. It's always been, wolves for me. Always my favorite animal. I think it'd be really, really fucking cool. I guess if I could do anything else.
I have an answer.
No, I really don't, cause like, yeah, you said like legal, so I'm thinking like those animals that just aren't traditionally seen as pets. So, like I'm sure people have an octopus for a pet, stuff like that. I know a wolf traditionally isn't a pet for a lot of people, and I guess also a bear. Because I fear them. So if I could tame one and befriend one, I mean that's the best security my money could buy. So yeah, a wolf or a bear, I'd say. But wolf is obviously 1A through Z, and bear is just number 2. So there you go.
Okay, so I have a few answers. My number one answer, the absolute number one thing that my mind goes to, snow leopard. I fucking love those little fuckers. They're so goddamn cute. I want to hold one and I want to put my hand up against its paw and see how big it is compared to my hand. They're so goddamn cute.
That is precious. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Do you know what a quokka is?
No, I do not.
Oh, buddy. I've got a treat for you. Let me show you what a quokka is. It's basically a real life Pikachu. They're so cute. Ah, ah. Okay, I posted a picture of a quokka in chat.
All right, I just clicked on it. Oh my god, that is adorable.
Yes,
It
that's
is
a
looking
quokka.
right at me.
I know.
Holy fuck.
They're so cute. Another big one that I've always found to be adorable: river otters.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I like that. I
think
like
they
that
are
one.
so goddamn adorable. So yeah, that would be pretty much the extent of my list. I would say a snow leopard, maybe a lynx. I do like lynxes. Really, any big cats I think would be on my list. Because even like lions and tigers, and especially like white tigers, they all just have their adorable little quirks that you kind of see sometimes in videos randomly that get caught on camera. But yeah, if it was safe, for sure, like if you were guaranteed that it wasn't gonna like turn on you or try and kill you or anything, and that it was legal and all that stuff, and I was able to do so, meaning I had the means to be able to do so, yeah, for sure, I would have basically a fucking cat sanctuary for cats of all sizes. Plus, yeah, I would want a quokka, and I would probably want a river otter, for sure. So, then we get,
I love those answers, man. It's pretty cool fucking pets.
yay. Then we get to our final question, both of Foster's and of the Q&A. When it finally happens, what are we doing during the TWitWoW meetup? Maybe it would be a cool idea to plan to do a TWitWoW meetup, like revolve it around a big Marvel movie, since such a big chunk of our Discord and our community is so into the MCU and Marvel stuff. Like maybe we could plan it for like a big like Avengers blow off, like maybe Secret Wars or something like that in 2025. And then like that could be just like a part of it. Like we could meet up at like a big movie theater in like Maryland or Virginia or even like Delaware or something like that, somewhere that's like central to like where all of us live. And then we could like, I don't know, go to like a boardwalk or a beach or somewhere and just like chill, or go and like get some like dinner somewhere, or like go and I don't even know. Maybe we go to a wrestling show. Maybe that would be a cool idea. Maybe we could find like a wrestling show that we could all go to together. Maybe like if Stardom ever comes to the U.S., we could do something like that, or even I don't know, like another New Japan Stardom show. I don't know. It would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I'd be down for a wrestling show if we could all like get together, pull our resources. That'd be pretty fucking wild to do. I know obviously things are really crazy right now all across the country, and I know like a lot of our viewers and stuff are going through their own stuff as we all are. But yeah, in a world where things were a bit more ideal even than they are now, yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. I'd be down for that. And then we could do shrinky dinks afterwards, because that would, that'd be cool
Yes.
too. Do some shrinky dinks and maybe some, just everything, just everything, just kind of come down from the wrestling. And then yeah, we could do the Marvel movie after, and maybe some anime. I don't know. We'll do
Oh.
everything, guys. We'll do everything.
We what we really need to do is we all need to get together and we all need to pool our resources and our money together, and we all need to go in on like a week or two worth of renting like a timeshare property for like a week or two, and we all need to just go there and we can all just live in the same house for like a week or two, and we get to chill together. We can play games with each other. We can watch wrestling together. We can watch movies together. Whatever the fuck. And it can just be a TwitWoW like week or two of just like the community all coming together in the real world and just hanging. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So that's that. Alex, I hope that we sufficiently answered your questions. Everyone else, we hope that we sufficiently answered your questions. The Alex Foster said it would be called, or it could be called a Twit Week.
Oh wow, that'd be wild. I love the sound of that though.
No. Here's what it would be. Here's what it would be. It would be. Let me think. It would be TwitWoW. That's what it would be. It would be TwitWoW. It would be this week in TwitWoW.
Wow, I love that.
Abel keeps on insisting that there are snow cones. Abel, not only will we make sure that you have access to snow cones if you want to go buy them, we will bring a snow cone maker so that we can literally just have snow cones on tap anytime you want them.
Wow. Yeah, we would do that for you, son. I'm down to make that commitment for fucking
Probably.
sure.
Other people would be there. Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. All right, are we done here, John?
I would say so, friend. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, as we've said before already, everyone, we are going to be back here in 4 weeks. So December 29th will be our next Q&A. It will be our last Q&A of 2022, and it will be our last monthly Q&A for the foreseeable future, because our next Q&A after December 29th will not take place until the end of March. We hope that you're all looking forward to that. As far as actual TwitWoW content goes, we have Stardom coming tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It is hopefully going to be a lot of fun. I believe, is it a Stardom? Is it a Korakuen show? I don't even remember. Let me check real quick. Oh God, everything's out of order. Oh God, everything's out of order. Why is everything out of order? Tokyo Comic Con? Oh, it's only one match. Okay. I think that we would be doing the 27th, the 11/27 show, and it is not a Korakuen show, so it should probably be like an hour and a half, I'm guessing, long live reaction. That should be fun. I have to pull up our schedule because honestly, I'm frazzled now and I need something to ground my face. So, yes, we have our live reactions to the November 27th show at 5 p.m. tomorrow. And then Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be doing our week in the world of wrestling in review. We hope you're looking forward to those. Remember to like this video before you leave, subscribe, click the bell, follow us, Twitter, Twitch, all that fun stuff. If you'd like to support us, you can also subscribe on Twitch, buy our merch on Spring, donate to our Patreon, and share this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends. And as I said, we'll be here tomorrow at 5 and then Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, we will be back in 4 weeks on December 29th for our final Q&A of the year, right before year-end awards, which should be a couple days after that. I think December 31st is usually our year-end awards day. So we hope you're looking forward to that. And most importantly, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.